You are looking live at
The Dub in 3, 2.
One for the money, two for the show, three get ready, four to let go. Talking that talk is all that we don't. It's football time, we ready to roll. We bringing the coaches close to the fans, answering questions not from the stands. D1 players with offers in hand, from DF Dubs, the best of the land. Hey, 6 be coming to play like 8, 5 be coming to play like 8, 4 and 3 be coming like 8. Private schools be making it 8, cool in the gang, Bad and Brian doing our thing. Weird and Jeremy ready to swing. Oh, I forgot it's a card to come. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub.
Welcome to the Dub, #1 high school podcast starring Pat O'Teasy, Jeremy McInnes, Whitfield Roderick, and Brian Bosler.
Dallas Fort Worth.
Yo, what's happening?
What up, Jay?
Man, what's going on, man? This is overreactions one day later. You know what I'm saying? Overreactions one day later. But you know what, man? Better late than never. You know what I mean?
Well, I can hear that. I can hear that. I see that. I see that. So what are your overreactions? What did you see this weekend, Mr. McInnes, that made you say that you don't want to come to work on Sunday night? You want to come to work on Monday night. Well,
Hey,
what? Tell us about that.
Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I was at the Cowboys game, man. It was a great game. You know what I'm saying? I allegedly, I might have had 1 or 2 margaritas, and a couple beers, and allegedly, I probably got home a little tired. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you could make it on air for your people.
Yeah, man. And I gotta apologize to the people. You know what I'm saying? So let me go and apologize to the people right now. You know what I'm saying? Cause hey, a brother was tired. You know what I'm saying? And I took the easy way out. I should have muscled on through. But we know now. We ain't doing no tripping now.
Yeah. You got to develop the Mamba mentality, brother.
Yeah, man. I'm working. I'm trying to gain my inner Kobe.
You're
I get it, Coach. That's why we got you on the show, Coach. You're a leader of men, so you keep us straight. You keep us right.
Well, we're gonna be all right, man. We're gonna be all right. Jesse, what up, homie?
So what am I?
What you doing, man?
We got the great Jesse Wide in here, D-Town, Lobo fan, aka DeSoto hater.
Hey man, I left the Soto alone this week, man. They ain't bothering me this week, so except Lamar Ellison. He he wants to smoke with me, so I'm gonna give it to him.
Hey man, that's DeSoto. The DeSoto fans, they like to throw them rocks and then hide their hand. You know how they do.
Well, I'm curious. I'm curious, Jesse. Are you from Longview?
No, I'm from Oak Cliff. I go for the Butterbeans. I'm from Oak Cliff.
Okay. So I need you to explain to the people who don't know about your infatuation with the Lobos in Longview.
Man, I'm a big fan of Texas high school football, but I love East Texas. And I have a lot of love for that city, man. I went down there about in 2003 for a party, man. And, everywhere I go, I always go look at high school stadiums. I always wanted to just kind of get an idea of that town, for how their football program ran. So just one day, man, I was coming from Shreveport from a tournament, a flag football tournament. I was looking in the paper in the playoffs, and that's that year Garland had Terrence Rawls. Garland was like 10-0. And I saw 45-0 for it. I'm like, damn, trip me up. You know what I'm saying? So just kind of started following them. And then one day I was at the Skyline Rowlett game when Tony Drake was playing at Texas Stadium. And Longview had up next. They were playing South Garland. So I'm going to stay and watch them play. And when they came out, man, just seeing the crowd, just really the style that they play, that style, that I formation, that grown man, that physical football. and just seeing, you had a lot of mixture of crowd. People just was, hooping and hollering and stuff, man. I'm like, okay. And one day back in 2009, when they played Allen, so I'm gonna go down to a game down here, and I went down to a game when they played Allen. Longview was number 1 in 4A. Allen was number 1 in 5A. Went down there, just seeing that atmosphere, man, just was like crazy. I took Deuce Mom with me, and we were just down there just looking at the game, man, and just the atmosphere and the way they rallied back to beat Allen and everything. It just like, I just became a fan. I just started watching them all the time and just became a big fan of them. So, and it's been, 13 years now. I done drove to Ruston, Louisiana. I mean, I go all over the state to go watch them play now. I got people I'm connected with down there and everything, man. So now it's like it's like a second home to me. So I know a lot more about their history than I do my own school history.
You don't talk about Oak Cliff that way.
You're right.
Like,
he went to Kimball.
He went to Kimball. I mean, I think, but see, here's the thing, man. Like, don't get me wrong.
There was a level of love that you had when you was talking about Longview that you don't speak when you talk about Oak Cliff.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Like, what is wrong with you, man?
I'm gonna tell you why. Jeremy can vouch for this.
When he talk about Longview, like he talk about his own plate, ain't it?
Huh?
I was telling Will, I said, when you talk about Longview, they look in your eyes like you looking at your old lady or something.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you. Hey, let me ask you a question. You got cats down that's not from LA, that's Laker fans. You got cats that's Philly fans that live in Dallas. So I'm like, hell, that's my favorite team out of high school. I like Longview. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no different. Cause I don't understand how people like the Lakers don't like the Mavericks, like the Eagles, like the Redskins.
What high school you go to? What high school you go to?
I went to Kimball.
Well, I can understand.
We lost them.
Hey, say less. Say less.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be
You should have led with that. If you
Exactly. That's all he had to say. All he had to do is say, I went to Kimball, and I'm not used to good football, so until I saw Longview.
But you know what, though?
That's it.
You know what, though? There's DISD period, though. Only team right now that's really playing good quality football is soccer. But I try to go watch a lot of DISD school. I just can't get into the shit. Like, it ain't no good quality out there, man. You got cats out here throwing fades and running fucking dives at the shotgun 100% of the time. Like, it's boring. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't really get into it, but it ain't got nothing to do with me not representing where I'm from. I just not a fan of it. I'm not a big fan of the quality they put on the field.
And I can co-sign that. I can co-sign Jesse. Ever since I've been knowing him, man, he have been a big fan of East Texas football and country football. And he liked that. Like me, he used to drag me all over East Texas, going to these little old games, these little old ass towns and stuff, man. So he is a big fan of it. I don't front on it, but that's what he is. That's what he likes. So
hey, he ain't fronting.
He ain't fronting. He ain't fronting at all.
I'm gonna tell you what, Will. When Longview lose, I'm the first nigga they tag. I'm the first one they tag. But I take it though. I don't just be when they win and talking shit. When they lose, that shit be really bothering me.
Well, the last time I got a chance to play them Lobos from Longview, they didn't score a point. They didn't get not 1 point, not a field goal, nothing. Nothing.
That was what, in the 70s?
In the 70s, really? Is that what you're doing now?
I wasn't born then, man. I can't vouch for that.
That's what you're doing? That's what you're doing?
I don't know, man.
Hey,
so now you selected, huh?
Hey,
last time they played court, I know they had kicking.
Hey, Jesse, you never say Langston by 10.
I got Longview by 20.
Oh, hell.
Ooh.
He tripping.
Longview by 20.
What's up, Big Court?
What's up with it, baby boy?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Just got
How was your weekend, brother?
It was beautiful. All my team won this weekend.
Yeah, I saw your baby boy won. Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a good weekend. I'm like you, man. All my teams won. I'm feeling good.
It sounded like y'all was on that Langston Longview when I chimed in.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring you back in because Jesse big time Lobo fan, man.
Well,
so,
I ain't gonna lie though. Jesse really opened my eyes to them boys. Like I just know like this game for me gonna define what Langston gonna be in the playoffs. Like, I mean, because they got a rich history of just blowing through the regular season. So I do want to see what they do against a team like Longview, who gonna come out and not back down to them. They stand up pretty good to them. You know, it's really a Longview, Denrine, Lancaster D1 race going right now. So the Katy Patel and all them type of teams. So if they stand up to Longview, then they can look at them other teams and have a chance at them. But they test this week for sure.
Shit, Pato 6-8 now.
Oh, they went 6-8?
6-8. So yeah.
Oh, so they saved a few people. They saved a few people right there, but
Alito D1 now. You got Alito, Langston, Longview, then around them top 4 horses right now.
Listen, Alito.
I feel you. I know.
Hey, that's over with. Alito ain't finna do nothing but reminisce about the past.
Yeah,
that's what they finna be. They gonna be showing them over. They gonna be like Cowboy fan, like we are.
No.
We talking about our 5 rings. That's finna be Alito.
The old quarter, how the quarter fans be with the 8-18.
Say, man, see, you ain't have to go there, man.
We missed it, man. Now, I'm just one thing I want to talk to you and Coach about. What I noticed too about like the casual football fan is a lot of people looking at these preseason records and thinking they getting a real determination of what these teams gonna be when it's time to enter their playoffs. And a lot of these teams is not what people think they are. Like they not saying they not good or they not turning the corner, but you have to, as a marquee program to turn that corner, you got to go knock down the big dogs in your division to show us that you ready. I mean, it's a lot of matchups that happen where they may play a 5-8, maybe play a 6-8, but the 6-8 wasn't really up to par. So they make it look like, oh, they turned the corner, but you really got to get down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to 5-8 D1, 5-8 D2, 6-8 D2. We already know what 6-8 D1 is on top, North Shore. Everybody else, even if the Soto fall to D2, you still got to go look at Gaia. Like these teams ain't for no play. So we all on the south side. We gotta beat them teams to say we taking that next step. And this one for Langston this week, and DeSoto, Waxahachie fight with DeSoto. That's gonna be them showing that they ready. You know?
So okay, then since you I want to kind of go over the past games before we get into that this week discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Start with you, Will. You went Thursday. You went to go check out the big hoopla with Velt playing Italy. If you could give us your thoughts on that. Just how that all went down.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Roosevelt had the big fight. So all their varsity players had to sit out the first half of the game. And so JV didn't even play that week, this past week, because they all had to play in the game. And man, it was a 2A team playing a 4A team. Is Roosevelt 4A? And the JV team 42-0 halftime. The varsity, now when the varsity came out and played, varsity easily would have won that game hands down. I mean, they came out and went 12-6. But Italy has a running back that's pretty good. They don't, it's my first time really seeing a 2A team up close and seeing what a 2A team looks like. You know what I mean? And you're like, wow, they're little, but they feisty and they just get knocked of it and they just, you know what I'm saying? They just some feisty little, you know what I'm saying? They love the game, and it was kind of cool watching them compete. But what I saw, as far as Roosevelt go, man, I mean, it's one of them things where you have to look at it and see, what DISD did, because the ironic thing is, the crazy part about it is DISD suspended the team for the first half and made it play the game. And I think Fort Worth, I think their punishment was just to cancel the game. So, they handled things differently, but just watching that game and seeing everything that was going on, it was interesting to watch it. You know, and the talent difference between a JV and a varsity, between 2A and 4A shouldn't be 42. So I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a game that I mean, and actually the only reason why Eastern Hills canceled is because they didn't want to put their JV up against Kennedale. And trust me, that would have been, you know, it would have been like you like the Italy game. Well, it'd been 40 something, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
But
so
you would think that a 4A JV team shouldn't be 42 points worse than a 2A team.
And not even a 2A powerhouse. That's not even like they've been to state every year or you know, not even a 2A powerhouse. You know, that just, you know, just a basic 2A program.
Right. But now when the varsity got a hold to them, you could see the difference. You know what I mean? It was obvious. So I want to watch those some more though. I kind of like what they had.
Yeah, that was wild. And you went to Lincoln Carter Friday, right?
Yeah. So I went to Lincoln and Carter. So all I'm gonna say about that game is that I would love to see Lincoln be more diverse in the type of talent they have. So when you talk about a receiver that's going to Texas Tech, Econ with all these offers, they have to be more creative in getting their playmakers the ball and doing something else other than sprint out right and sprint out left. But he is a phenomenal athlete. You see the moxie that he has, his ability to get out on the edges and throw the ball. You know, I just think that you know, when you look at Carter, you want Carter. And I thought about it after we said the pick, because I picked Lincoln, and I said, you know what? Carter playing a DISD team. So as long as they playing a DISD team, they're gonna be the DISD team. We want Carter to win games against people who don't look like DISD. And right. You know, that should be the litmus test for them, not DISD.
Yeah.
But overall, good weekend.
I agree with you, and I even told Coach Spencer that, you know, that you know, we got to look at Carter, man. It's we got to look at now. It's time to go some rounds in the playoffs. It's time to start beating people other than DISD teams. We got to start beating teams outside of Dallas. We got to start beating people, you know, that in the country towns or on the outside. So, and I think that he understand that. Ain't no doubt about it. Coach Spencer understand that, and they working towards it. You know what I'm saying? So, I do hope they get it. Jess, so you sat down now? All right, Cordy, you got anything on that, man? What you think about, you know, any just your opinion on Velt? I don't know if you saw the link. I guess you was at a sock game, but what you think about is that time for Carter to start beating teams outside of Dallas?
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I mean, I think that's, like Coach said, that's probably the litmus test for all our inner city schools. Once we can go outside the county line and look at some of their discipline football, because see, it ain't about talent all the time. Discipline be talent when the talent ain't discipline. So when you got kids out there, I don't care what offers you got. See, I want to say that because I heard a lot of pedestrian fans saying, well, so-and-so got this many D1 players and this many. That don't matter. You know how long that we had to play a white team with one token black boy that's going to school and a bunch of white kids that was beating Dallas for their whole life? You got to play some discipline football. And what Carter got is a lot of talent. What Lincoln got is talent. Any school you go to in the hood where kids run around their green box, we're going to have some talent. But the problem is when you put that talent in front of somebody who's going to do their job, who's going to take their 4 yards, they 5 yards, and drive downfield, how do your defense sustain against that? How do your offense answer drives? See, my theory to it is the hood thrive on big plays, 80-yard runs, 60-yard runs. You got to be able to sustain drives. You got to be able to keep the defense off the field. You got to be able to run the ball. Like a lot of times, it's too much bells and whistles when it comes to the inner city schools. When at the end of the day, everybody need to focus on more O-line play, like Coach got on here and screamed about, y'all, the O line's got to play. Because you're not telling me that those guys in the country just way much stronger. No, they just playing their technique. So for me, it'd be a technique issue. Every time I go watch a inner city school play a country school, it's like, oh, here we go. They don't know how to they don't know how to play the trap. They don't know how to play the zone block. The linebackers overrunning. The DB, they just in space. Just a lot of miss. And we come from the program, just have to build up, and they have to start putting coaching back into these kids. It's really what it's about. We just don't see a lot of. I hate to say it because it sounds like we saying the black coaches can't coach and the white. Nah, it's not that. The problem is what they put into them kids. They do year round. Like we got to get to. That's why soccer program starting to thrive because it's a year round thing. Kids don't take breaks. We won state 2 weeks later. Kids are back on the field. Like we got to get that in all our schools and DISD. And I feel like we can go look at them Kennedales and them Kaufmans and all that. We'll say even Carter because they're not lacking on that much talent. It ain't that much of a talent difference. Like because go ahead, Coach.
I was just saying, it's just that when you go to these games and I watch them, right? The hardest part about me watching this game, because it's like the first time that I go to games that I haven't had the headphones on in like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of different when I go to these games. So I don't have nobody to talk to, A. And B, my eyes are totally different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, yo, Carter literally had both. They was playing too high. Both of their safety was outside the hash. They had an inline tight end. But all Lincoln kept doing was what? Side, screen, side. So those safeties could come down and play on top of that. But it wasn't. But what Lincoln should have been doing is hitting that tight end right up that seam. You know what I'm saying? Then now I can pull them safeties out so that third blocker don't have to be that third tackle don't have to account for him, because if he comes screaming down and I'm going vertical, I done pulled him out now the middle field wide open. But they don't look at that. It's like it's just hard to watch. It's hard football to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's just a hard football to watch. And I would love to see, guys reach out of there. Well, and like the kids say, get into your bag. Like there's a lot of, and the thing that I like about soccer at the end of the day is like I told you, second half of the Soto game, they came out and just started pounding people. But that's who they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't put up 46, 56 points in what, 6 quarters? If you go back to the and only put up 17 in the first 3 games? But what changed? We can say quarterback, that's easy to say, because that's what everybody sees. Nah. You running for 300 yards. I'm leaning on people. I'm imposing my will. The best talent on that team is up front. And when they start to lead, that is a team that can put up points. And that's what I like to see about soccer, man. And that was really exciting to watch them. Miss Crystal. She said, kind of way, what we talking about?
No, she talking about we don't bring women on the show, but
we do need to bring.
I invite women, they don't come. So if you know a woman, Lash, if you know a woman that want to come on here and talk that talk, then let me know. I ain't got no problem. Let me know her name and tell her check her DMs. And all these brothers, they know me. I ain't got no problem. I'll send you the show. Speaking on which, man, we keep it on rolling. I'm gonna give a quick account of. I went to the Duncanville homecoming. I went to Duncanville Lake Ridge. I wanted to check out Lake Ridge quarterback. He's a sophomore. I wanted to check out the freshman running back. And I'm just saying I still want to check him out because
Colin not gonna let you check him out.
No, it's just, hey man.
He's a disruptor.
And I'm gonna tell you, dog, the more the weeks go by, the more dangerous Duncanville getting, man. That offense is getting diverse. I saw wheel routes. I saw drag routes. I saw tight end counters. I saw, hey man, hey, I'm telling you, that's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say is, and that quarterback is getting comfortable. He like throwing the ball. I saw him throw a corner route. Hey man, I don't think an NFL quarterback could have threw that any better. I mean, it was perfect. So, and of course, Colin is Colin, and that defense is defense. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they in trouble. Hey, but before we go, we're talking about Dallas. Can we all give a big shout out to the 4 DISD team or 3 that's undefeated? We got Conrad is 4-0. Spruce is 4-0. Pinkston is 4-0. So let's give them their props that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? They deserve it. There it is. Give it to them. You too, Jesse. Everything ain't got to be in Longview. Get them boys their props, man. God damn.
Hey,
You
man,
Hey,
good job.
man. Get them boys their props, man. The boys undefeated.
First of all, we talking about Bruce, Conrad, and Pinkston. When was the last time, if ever, they all been undefeated?
Conrad was back in like 07 or 08 when
I'm talking about at the same time.
huh?
At the same time.
Oh no, it's been a while. Yeah, it should be Kimball Carter and Skyline back in the day.
Well, I don't know about Skyline, but okay. Back when
Skyline was a powerhouse. Skyline had about 5-6 good years.
They had one
about sample years, right?
The
They had
sample
one
years.
good year when I was there. That was the year they had Flounder Malone. That was
If you talk about, see, okay, there's Skyline with samples and Todd. Those years were their best years.
They were the powerhouse. Correct.
Skyline used to get drugs week in and week out.
Correct. Powerhouse.
Yeah.
No.
So can we just all agree that we could give these boys their props? I mean, Pinkston, hey man, I'm proud of Pinkston. That's West Dallas.
Good to see that. You know what I'm saying? It's good.
Hey man, and Spruce, that's Pleasant Grove. They got something to be happy about. Hey, Conrad, do you know what Conrad is? I mean, come on, man.
They knocked out Fort Seagoville. They coaches out here talking about. Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, we welcome Swag and Wick. Well, I don't know why he want to show up like he a rapper, but all right, Swag, we see you.
What's up, Wick?
Yeah, what it do, guys? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, man, we just talking, man. We just talking some good talk, man. But now I'm finna go into. Hey, you was at the Carter Lincoln game. You got anything on that before I go? Will said something.
Hey, man, yes, I do. First of all, hats off to Lincoln, man. Coach Johnson, he got a pretty good team over there. They're young. When they figure out their defense, man, they're gonna be a force to reckon with. They figure out their defense. That defense is, man.
Who you talking about, Carter?
No. And as far as Carter go, I think I just said this plenty of times. I know Will agree with me. Caden Landry, hey man. Scouts, have y'all watching this show? Anybody out there listening college wise? Hey man, get out there and see that kid play. That kid is a monster. No shades to any other run backs in the area, but I believe in my mind, Caden Landry is in the top 5 in the area in running.
Top 3.
Top 3.
I can give you that, and I can tell you he can start for any team in Dallas. I think he probably can start for most teams in the southern sector or in DFW. I mean, it ain't that many that's better than him.
Right. I want to give a shout out to Carter quarterback, sophomore quarterback, Cam Patterson. That's a tough task he is trying to handle right now with the starter out. I think he stepped up really, really well this past weekend and led that team. That was a good game, man. It was a back and forth game at first, and Carter just pretty much put the clamps down and ran away with it. That's all I saw.
Show.
Yeah, became the 219 yards off 23 carries, 3 touchdowns. Hey man, that young man put that team on his back when I turned 1 that game, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey Will. You remember that one run when he broke up the middle and they had him bottled up and he spent out like Barry Sanders and he was gone. That was the one.
That was the one by 25
That was the
yards.
one. Yes.
He's special.
Hey, J Man. Hey, J Man, he did a Barry Sanders move where he spent out of a. It was like 3 dudes had him bottled up. He spent out of them and he was gone.
Oh damn! I mean,
Yeah,
I know he's true. When I first saw him, I knew I always knew he was good. Hell, at the Sunnyvale game, he was the only one that showed up, and we just go keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm trying to tell the old dude in the group? I was telling the old dude in the group. I forgot who I was arguing in the group, and I was like, they were like, "Well, what did he do against Sunnyvale?" I said, "Shit, he had 150 against Sunnyvale."
Yeah, he showed up.
I know Jesse. You know Jesse down there.
Hey, nobody else got off the bus. But hey, he got off the bus. I can promise you that he got off the bus.
Always get off the bus.
Here go his stat line. Here go his whole stat line. He hit Yates for 175, 2 touchdowns. He hit Kimball for 100 and something, a touchdown. He hit Sunnyvale for 2 touchdowns and 150, and he hit Lincoln for 219. You can't sit up and tell me this kid ain't no joke.
Hey, he the real deal, man. I mean, I like DISD. DISD is looking good right now, man. I give credit what credit is due. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind giving my opinion either way. So I give criticism and I give credit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these cats that just want to criticize, don't want to give nobody credit. I believe if you earn credit, you're supposed to get it. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say something. To Jesse real quick. Jesse, you can see I'm down on my knees right now, bro. I'm taking a bow. Longview, Lufkin, Jesus Christ.
I try to tell
you. They got another bow, though. They got another bow. Jesus Christ. I didn't see that coming, bro.
Hey, you gonna come this weekend too? Watch.
Nah, he ain't
I didn't see that coming, bro.
Right.
He ain't
I didn't see that coming, bro.
I told him when
we gonna get there. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. I'm working it. We finna get there.
I gotta get my bow.
Before we talk about some more, I need to know everybody what y'all think of that Waxahachie coming out. Everybody talking about they ain't played nobody, which you still can say that, but I will say this. They beat City Hill better than Southlake, and most people think Southlake top 3 in the state. You know what I'm saying? So
well, Jay, I don't know about that one. Y'all just go 6 points on Southlake.
Huh?
Y'all just go 6 points on Southlake.
Who did?
City Hill.
Okay. How many did City Hill score in Waxahachie?
21.
Oh, that's because they shut it down, bro.
Yeah.
They shut it down, bro. Their game was overwhelmingly lopsided.
I could have swore that game 55-7 or something.
Nah, they ended up letting off the gas at the end, but I mean, say with the Warrens in, their running game is amazing. When they quarterback running too, I'm telling people like this is not the same DeSoto and Waxahachie game. I know I'm not leaning either way because I'm biased anyway. I got my own team I love, but it's gonna be a slugfest game. It's not gonna be the game it usually is. And with the experience they got and the running backs they got and the way they quarterback playing right now, it's gonna be a good game and a real test. It's kind of what it reminds me of is kind of like soccer but with an offense though, like with somebody who can return their score back. So we're gonna see some high powered offense. That's
well, tell me this now. Most people seem to think DeSoto weakness is a power team, right?
Well, that could be true, but let me tell you this: your power team gotta have some badass cornerbacks. Because Jonte, like it's gonna be some scoring.
Now I will say, Waxahachie got a cornerback going to Ohio State, so I just don't think he gonna be just like
Jonte beat everybody. So.
But Jonte beat everybody. But Jonte been starting for 3 years, and they ain't beat a power team.
That's what I think it's gonna be a great matchup. Like it's gonna come down to mistakes, special teams, and halftime adjustments. So it's gonna come out and go ahead.
No. No, I'm just wondering because you brought up Jonte, but I'm just saying, what Jonte do against Sock? I know he scored once, but other than that one score.
But I'm be honest with you. Jonte was kind of playing somebody who was almost at his level. Like, I mean, this Manny Muhammad. Manny Muhammad going to Texas too. He pretty much. What I'm saying.
So I just told you Waxahachie got one guard on Ohio State that was recruited by everybody.
they're gonna do a more concerted effort to get everybody involved in this game. That's what they're gonna have to against Watson Hedges because Watson Hedges is gonna play on that rock. So it's gonna. I just feel like it's gonna be one of them games where DeSoto got to unleash. They ain't gonna get to hold on and then they're gonna have to let
I
it
just
go.
feel like this. I feel like the key points of the game, man, is gonna be the secondary. Mathis and them back there, and they have proven over the weeks it's hard to throw over there. They have proven that. So, and far as Watson had to go, like CD just said, um, it's gonna come out of that running game, bro.
It's
Young and
tough.
Betts, that's a hell of a ass running game. I gotta give it to him.
It's
And
tough.
this week, it is time to put up and shut up finally, and I can't wait for it because this has been brewing ever since the dub got started. Am I lying, J Mac?
Yeah, it's
This
been brewing, man, and
this brewed on
this
the
is the
first
conflict I
episode.
got, man. I don't know if I want to head down 20 and support my Weibo Nation and Coach Paul and Coach Muhammad as they do the grand upset and slap Longview around in their own home stadium, or do I want to sit back and watch this heavyweight bloodbath that's
Hey, let me
going
ask
down
my big
right here
brother.
in DeSoto?
Let me ask my big brother. Big brother in the corner. You know who I'm talking to. What you gonna do this weekend?
Big Will.
I'm listening to y'all. I'm going to Ann Arbor this weekend.
You sure is. You sure is. You did tell me that. Homecoming. You did tell me that.
Big boy. Big boy.
I'm going to the house, baby.
J Mac, what we gonna do, dog?
Who y'all playing?
Maryland. Homecoming.
Yeah, it's better game
Oh.
here.
It is. It really is.
Now, okay, we got
in here. I would definitely go. Well, where's the game at? DeSoto or Waxahachie?
I think it's DeSoto, ain't it?
DeSoto.
DeSoto, yes, DeSoto home game.
That game.
So you know we won't be on the sideline.
What a dub is not allowed.
Well, we still waiting on the email.
Oh, I forgot y'all playing on Eagle Drive.
Hey, Courtney, the dub bad from DeSoto.
Yeah, but look, did I say? I told you that's my only problem with them. It's like, okay, we all go with each other, right? But just because we won't go with each other, they don't make it personal, bro. Like, okay, we saying the starter gonna lose, but then prove us wrong. It ain't that big of a deal. But then they take it personal, start treating you like an outsider when it ain't even that serious, bro. Like,
Yeah, now it's something in the water in DeSoto. That just
y'all mean y'all not gonna ever agree with everybody, so everybody gonna be mad. So
For the
I
time.
don't even take this stuff personal, bro.
I don't
You
even.
know, like it's whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, like whatever. You know, I just when it comes down to that game and just talking about that game, I see a team that in Waxahachie that plays a style of football that does not bode well for DeSoto. And I'm saying that because you have a team that has 3 legitimate guys that could take it to the house any given time they touch the rock. DeSoto hasn't stopped a nosebleed when it comes to running the football. St. Francis rushed for 350. Sock had over 200 yards rushing. And now you're about to bring in the best running team in all of high school football, and you about to bring them in there? Sure. They're going to score some points as far as DeSoto, but their secondary is going to have to make a whole lot of tackles. And I don't think that the Waxahachie defense ain't what that is. And we can talk about whoever they playing, but that team hasn't had to play almost a full 4 quarters this year. You know what I'm saying? They have just as good a defense as anybody else. So you're talking about a team who can lean on you, who can go match your best player with your best player. And even if your best player gets some and their best player gets some, that's not going to offset everything else that's happening in that game. Because that game is truly going to come down to who can control the line of scrimmage. It ain't gonna come down to special teams. It ain't gonna come down to none of that. It's gonna come down to who can control the line of scrimmage, and whoever do that is gonna win that game.
Hey, I see that. Hey, let's get. We got to hear from Jesse, man. We got people in the house. We talking about DeSoto. We got to hear Jesse's opinion. Okay, Jesse, just give me your opinion.
I'm the number one hater in DeSoto, man. Shit, I don't even go there wild. Let them tell you, I hate every kid over there. I get them from my mind. But be real, man. I watched Waxahachie this year. Everybody want to say they ain't played nobody. But them same schools they played this year, they struggled with last year. And the difference is when DeSoto played Sock this year, Sock was still trying to find their quarterback was trying to find his rhythm. Waxahachie quarterback can throw the ball. He can run the ball. You got 2 running backs over there, really 3 over there that can play. Like they good up front in the trenches. They gonna hit you. So when I watched Ennis, Ennis had a lot of speed too. But when I saw how they were just hitting them in the mouth, man, like and taking the fight out of them, like DeSoto looking at this Waxahachie, like this ain't the same Waxahachie. And y'all barely beat them last year. You know what I'm saying? And, I think Iowa gonna go for 150 on DeSoto this week. I think Benson gonna get 100. They're gonna go for about 200 plus yards this year easily on DeSoto. Anytime you can get physical with DeSoto, they have a hard time stepping up to that. And just to be real, like I said, they played St. Augustine, they played Sock, they played who they beat last week? Skyline. Like you can't just really say that Waxahachie ain't played nobody because technically they haven't either. And I'm not taking that from Sock, but Sock really wasn't hitting on our cylinders yet. So the only real time you play with St. Francis, and look what happened. So I wish I could make that game, man. I hate it, but I'm gonna be down there in Longview, but I will be following on my phone, man. But I think Waxahachie gonna be.
I can see that. Hey, y'all don't get mad. It's just the fans are talking. Y'all welcome them for y'all opinion. And hey, if you feel like that, bro, to hit me up. I will send you a link in your DM. You can come right on here and talk about it.
Oh, my boy, Chris Lott, you can hear me. Come on in, dog.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. That's all
Come on, Lott. Come on in, Lott.
But
Lydia, you want to come in, Lydia?
It's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna be no blowout.
We got enough quarter people on here.
I can't go for the blowout just because what Coach said. Like when you can play ball control on offense, it's gonna force the other team to have to score if you take a long drive and score.
Exactly.
They gotta come back and answer that. So I just feel like this year the game a little bit more equal. And they're not taking enough from DeSoto because they, like it's gonna be a good game. I just seen Waxahachie this year, and I'm like, it take a lot to sell me. I'm sold. Like they got the running backs to control the game. They not, and they the guys that's gonna hit their head on the goalpost too. They're not just 10 yards in the cloud of dust guys. If you don't come at the right angle, you're gonna watch them run to the touchdown. So I feel like it's gonna be a Tiger and what's the kid out of there over there from Texas going to Texas? What's the kid name?
Trey
Wiseman.
Trey Wiseman. They're gonna have to. This game gonna be about the backs answering what Waxahachie doing because, like I say, it's gonna be some good passing going on because both teams got quarterbacks, they got wide outs. But I want to see how both teams control the running game. Like Coach say, I mean, when they played Sock, they really was playing light in the box. You know what I'm saying? We were still just getting our rhythm, but like you can't play light in the box against Waxahachie
at all.
Like not
all.
even.
I will say this real quick for anybody out there listening. If you watch Wednesday night show, this will be a sneak peek because this is Swaggy Witt's game of the week. DeSoto Waxahachie. So this will be the spotlight game. So yeah,
you gotta do a co-game of the week this week, dog. We got to
we're gonna have to talk about that one, and that's why I'm doing this show today. Because
Alexa, nobody talking to you.
Hey, Jeremy, but here's the thing, though. What we will find out about this week is who definitely have the best running back in the city.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Hey, best running back down there out 20, man, right off that.
You on, Jesse?
Huh?
Hey, J-Man.
I know what you said.
No, I'm gonna be honest. The best running back.
Jesse. Tandem, group.
Oh, you said tandem. I just said, hey, they got some backups though. Don't get me wrong. You'll see. They got some, hey, they got 4 down there long for you. They got some
them tandems fighting though. Them tandems fighting. DeSoto got a tandem. This hell.
Yeah, they got one down there too.
Hey, Duncanville got one because I just watched the other bag run for 160 Friday.
Hold up, and both our bags just went for 120.
I was just going to say that, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. I was just going to say that. Danny Green.
I was going to
on that name. Danny Green. Keep my eye on that name. Danny Green. Hey, that kid is doing his thing over there, man.
I take 5 running backs in there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know I had to,
baby. Me, I'm like, you know.
My boy 2 times, baby.
Them boys from Waxahachie, that boy from Duncanville, that boy from Carter, them kids from DeSoto, them guys. North Crowley, like them dudes are a little different. Them cats at Sock, I love them because they are perfect running back for y'all offensive line. They hit the hole and they're gonna make you pay for that game. And in the fourth quarter, you're gonna have to make a decision if you want to tackle that boy or you're gonna jump on his back. That's what I love about the Sock running backs. They run hard.
Yeah. I love that kid, Danny Green, man. I love that kid, Danny Green.
Runner McClain, I'm waiting. Hold on, fellas. Runner McClain, I'm waiting. I'm checking my DM. All you gotta do is say send me a link. That's all you gotta say.
Ben O'Donnell, I want you in there. Come on.
North Crowley play 6A coach.
Yeah, I think North Crowley.
Hey, North Crowley going to
2.
You 2? No.
I think they're gonna go undefeated this year.
You think they're going to state in D2?
No, North Crowley going undefeated.
Oh, okay. I'm just making.
Hey, Jesse, not so fast. Wait.
They're gonna beat Trinity, bro.
No. It ain't Trinity.
Who?
Trinity's not your worry.
Who is?
Worry about Boswell. It ain't Trinity.
Oh, didn't Boswell?
You need to worry about over there.
Didn't Boswell?
Nah, I ain't worried.
Boswell destroyed Trinity.
No, I'm talking about in that district.
Boswell.
They in that district?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They got a 3-headed monster over there. They got Boswell, Crowley, and they got an LD Bell playing some football right now.
Well, somebody said North Crowley win the state, so they got North Crowley beat Denton.
My boy Keith. Shout out to my boy Keith.
You think North Crowley gonna beat Denton?
Who?
I don't even think Denton Gotti gonna win state this year in Division 2.
I'm saying because we still leaving out the D2 teams out of Houston. We still leaving.
That's what I'm saying. You got Katy. That's what I'm saying.
Like I just watched Katy the other day, and their style of play is terroristic to DFW.
A lot of
getting under center and running cutback in zone, that's terroristic to DFW. So I mean, I seen North Carolina a little bit. They play Lovejoy. They beat Lovejoy, but come on, family.
Well, I'm gonna say
I don't think it's no disrespect, but ain't nothing wrong with. Cause I looked at Dave Campbell top list 25. North Crowley ain't even on it. That's disrespectful.
But it goes back to what you said, Coach. Where y'all said strength of schedule matter, right?
Well, it can't matter. See, the thing about it is this is what I hate about this argument. Courtney, don't tell me strength of schedule matters when it comes to certain teams, but it don't matter.
No, it matters.
Your top 5 not playing nobody.
No, it matter with me. And I'm gonna tell you this too: the eyeball team.
Right, Chris.
Like, okay, look, Coach. If you go watch a game, right, and you see a team flying around and they playing a team that's lesser than them, I mean, it might look good, but you got to see that with the team that's equal or above them for me to get them that 9. So I done seen them play. I seen them play Lovejoy. They had a hell of a game, but 6A D2 got some slugger knockers in 6A D2. So that game I seen against Lovejoy, they're not gonna equal out to playing against Guy or and I ain't taking nothing away from North Carolina because I don't really know, but all the way I don't know. But I'm just saying, like when it come down to like them teams that they gotta play to get the state or even just to get the state, it's gonna be a hell of a ride. And if they do that, they're gonna prove themselves to be one of the top teams around. Like,
I will say this, Courtney. If North Crowley go D2, it will come down to North Crowley and Gaia to see who played Katy.
What about DeSoto?
Shit, hey, That'd be a good game
Soto
with you, Soto
going
and
D2
Gaia.
too.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
But hold on, Curry D2.
Here's what I was
Curry might go D2.
the thing about North Valley though, the thing about North Valley is
Oh, Westlake, I forgot.
they beating teams they supposed to be beating.
Right.
So the teams they're supposed to beat, they're beating. That's a first year head coach. So everything that they doing is pretty much superseding maybe everybody's expectation of them. So coach them going in every game, wanting to win every game, and they are. I think for them, going into the playoffs and how far they can go into the playoffs, I think, for them, defense and run game travels, man, and they play special teams. So I would put North Valley as a top 10 team because I just feel like they've done enough. They're playing enough. They're playing good competition. They're winning games. They're undefeated. And, in the district they're in, they're not in a terrible district. So they're going to play some of those games to get ready.
We forgot about Westlake. We forgot about Austin Westlake too.
I didn't forget about Westlake.
I
put Westlake down with the Houston team because it's gonna come down to Westlake or Katy. They both can't make it a state.
They're gonna
come down. It's gonna come down to Westlake or Katy.
They'll play each other.
Yeah,
Hey,
they got
I don't know if I'm real late or not. I talked about Payson and Hutch yet.
Yeah, we went through DISD, gave everybody they props.
That game gonna be good.
But right now I ain't gonna lie, But I mean, we gave Peace and they props for being undefeated. I think the Hutch game is gonna be good. But now we gotta go and get to Sock, man. We ain't even talked about Sock. They got their first victory. Can we get a round of applause for Sock?
S.O.
Yeah, S.O.
Hey, look, Coach. I want to start this off by doing something that we never talk about. All we talk about is the great skill guys and the 5-star linemen. Let's shout out the sock kicker, Diego Varela.
There you go.
Greedy. I gotta say, let me tell you something. It's very rare for a hood team to get a real kicker, and that boy the real deal. That boy can play on Saturday. He done made a lot of clutch kick for us, and they keep prove what type of team we are when it comes down to the wire. Because we could have went for more yards and tried to move it downfield because Todd said, hey, we trust our kicker, and then we ride with our kicker. So I want to give a shout out to the kicker, Mr. Diego. Wasn't even a football player. They snatched him out the soccer team. And look at him now. All the schools go to the soccer team, man. You get your kicker, baby.
Hey, Courtney, I want to ask you a question straight up on her. Because we've been going on ever since the game of the night. So what you got to say about this QB situation?
QB situation, what I got to say about it? I mean, only difference I see in the two QBs is the zone read offense work better for Carter because he will pull the ball down and run. Like, I just feel like I said last show, when you take a kid that haven't played this type of high-level football and throw him into the wolves, he's still trying to get match ready to the offense. He's not pulling his own read. When Carter got in, he just pulled his own read. Like, if you pull it and they bite, we're going to get some more yards. So, I feel like Coach, I trust Coach Wood, Coach Todd, Coach Spencer, all them guys. And I know for a fact in my heart, I ain't going to say they told me this. I'm saying for a fact, like Carter, sophomore, he just came up from the Arlington coach. I mean, y'all want to throw him out there against Duncanville and let him get hurt before we get to see what he can do? No, we ride with the senior. We got some young quarterbacks. He gonna get some PT so he can get more comfortable. But I feel like the quarterback was part of the reason we won. But at the end of the day, like Coach said, the O-line was just blowing. What's the kid y'all had on here? Irby, the one who played for Paris and Pittsburgh. I mean, Cam really took him and set him down most of the game, bro. You got to give it up to the line. Caleb. I mean, bro, did you see Big Cam on Caleb the whole game? That was a slugfest. He wasn't winning too much. So you just got to give it up to them linemen. They stepped up and they just put their game on their back and told everybody to get behind them and let's roll. We ain't got to worry about the quarterback. We're going to hand him over our foot. Excuse me.
That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to right there. Is why is Sock celebrating a quarterback change when when I feel like they should be celebrating the offensive line finally living up to their potential.
I got that for you. Did you watch the Cowboys game last night?
I was there, brother.
He was
Any
there.
little glimpse, any little glimpse of fans who not true fans, they're gonna ride the other way. They couldn't wait to say, "Oh, put him in." Oh, that's just how they are, bro. Some of these people not sock fans to me. Like Coach said, they spectators. They come to see what we gonna do. So a lot of people who celebrating that, not knowing what's really going on. Like at the end of the day, I feel like the other kid can do better. But we run into more of a zone read scheme. So Carter gonna pull the ball and he might run it a little bit. So a lot of people celebrating, not really knowing what they talking about. This is typical. Like when you go to a black game, do they cheer for first downs? Do they cheer? No, they just sit and watch the team score a touchdown. So a lot of these people not football knowledgeable. So I take what they say with a grain of salt, and I'm gonna trust the coaches. The coaches know what we need to do. These the same coaches last year they was praising for winning state, and now they can't coach all of a sudden. So I don't really listen to fans because they probably ain't never won a little league championship or got a trophy in their life, but runner up. So a lot of stuff they say I take with a grain of salt. Me, I knew that Carter gonna get some burning in certain moments because he gonna pull that ball out. And I feel like if Trey would have pulled that ball out, he would have been gone. Because it ain't like he can't run. He just not used to that. That's not the offense he come from. He come from standing in the pocket and throwing the ball.
Yeah, he's a drop back passer.
He a drop back guy. And then when
Yeah.
you play in the zone read style and you just a pure drop back guy, some of them quick reads might be a little too fast for him sometimes. Like that ball was sitting a little high. So we put quarterback there, shoot, you want to bite on the running back, he can keep it and get 10, 20 yards. So I feel like they bringing him along slow. They doing it the right way. There ain't no reason to throw him to the woods, Duncanville, DeSoto, Langston, get him hurt. He's just a sophomore, so it's all about playing and preparation. Because I don't even think he came to soccer to play varsity. I think he came to play sub varsity, but he ended up making varsity. So we just watching the kid, getting him a little sauce. He ran all, you know what I mean, around the black kids every day, getting his swagger up, and he just looked good in the game. But we got to see this over. You got to get a resume over time.
That's true.
We can't get this off of one. See, people like Flash Pen and what's it called, a flash in the pan. When they see one thing, they just ready to ride with it. That's just how our city is, man. We a very reactive city. We not proactive. We don't ride with stuff before it happened. We just want to ride the bandwagon. So what you're seeing is a lot of people just going off, oh, it looked good, but hey, it's gonna look good when we really running one style. We really just zone reading. If he keep it, he got some. If he don't, he hand it off. So I feel like, man, it's all gonna work itself out in the end. And like I say, like Coach said, we run the ball like that, you can go get any team out of 5AD2. Ain't nothing they can do with that.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
Paris the most disciplined team I've seen this year. I don't care who you go get. When I watch Paris play, the way they offense set up, the way everything they do, them kids are fully disciplined. So what you watched was a team with athletes who had to get in their discipline. And what happened is we came back in that game because we started doing what we do best, running that ball and making you turn it over. Running that ball, making you turn it over. So it was just a slugfest, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to hear something crazy though? What you said a while ago, like you said about just go what happening right now. Me, J man, we went to watch Duncanville play in the spring, and there's no shade at the starter, but we knew that the backup was going to be the better quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And when the starter got hurt, they about like, this season over with. This like the backup is actually a better quarterback, and now everybody's starting to see it. You know what I'm saying? So some people just be talking, bro.
Yeah, but you think you could take a sophomore who come from go ahead, my bad, Rob.
One thing I said about you, Courtney, and you, Jeff, and this is being real. I respect both of y'all to the fullest, man, because as long as I've been knowing both of y'all, Courtney, you've been a ride or die sock. I'm sorry, way before this championship, way before whenever. I mean, you've been. We go at it for years about Sock and Carter, even when y'all used to beat us. And Jesse, one thing I can say about you, bro, that most people probably don't know online, people can always message you and say you might have went to Kimball, but you Longview this. But I can promise you, nobody can tell me every year about Longview roster more than you can. Like, you are a true Lobo, and that I got to give you credit where it's due. You know everything about the team. You know everything about the damn city, everything. So every year, see the story, I be like, Jesse, what long have you got this year? And you can tell me damn near the whole roster. So you can tell me the whole roster, then damn it, you real.
Well, it's
Like,
crazy
take
that you
the
say that
Carter
though,
whole
bro.
roster, if you
It's
ask
crazy
me.
that because I have talks with people from Longview, and we have talks about it. They be tripping out how much I know. I be like, sometimes I might correct them on this. Like, you sure right? I be like, man, you know a lot about Longview. So, I mean, it just the fact like I'm a fan of them, bro. People can say what they want. I don't mean to be current, but I'm a fan of their program. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say this before we move on. They got a 26 class gonna probably be better than this 24 class. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna be good for the next 4 years. So they're gonna be a problem. And I'll be talking noise. So,
But see, I say this to say this. This is my point I'm making. Just like Courtney said a while ago about the sock thing. I ain't seen so many fucking. I ain't seen so many bandwagoners come out of nowhere until now. Yeah, they started off 0-2. I seen them same bandwagons that was on the bandwagon talking down, and that's where.
This a part of life, though. This is a part of life, man. You gotta understand, like people who real sock fans, man. You gotta understand. My family went to sock. I graduated from sock. I played in sock. When I found that Coach Ward, which me and him went to junior high together, man, ask Coach Ward how much I call him. We talk football. I could be on his nerves. He answered the phone for me every time. Like, man, we really into these football sock thing. I was a sock fan. We was 0 and 10, 3 and 7, 4 and 6. I always been saying we had the athletes to win state. So for me, seeing some coaches to come in and make the boys really treat this program with honor and respect, that's really what it's all about, man. If you want to see your school turn around, bro, the kids got to buy into it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Once you see these kids buying in, because I could have laid down against Paris. Paris put on an onslaught on us, but you see them kids, they got some type of heart, bro, because it's the program, it's the pride, it's the I went to sock. Like people think sock people just, oh, we so arrogant. No, bro, we just love our school. I don't know your school. I didn't go there. I don't know nothing about that. It's just like being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I grew up like that. I don't know nothing else. So for me, it's so easy for people to come and say, oh, the coach ain't doing this right. Let me tell y'all something, bro. I don't want to toot my boy horn, but I'm going to toot his horn, man. It's about 2 years ago. Coach Ward sent me a list of kids who done played DB from him. You hear me? Every single kid went to school. Bro, that's bigger than, oh, they can't coach and all that, man. How they got a kid at Stanford right now starting as a freshman, now he a sophomore? Why they got a kid at Oklahoma State? It's something they doing right, bro. It's something they doing right, so you got to respect it. That's why I told y'all last time that why I lay off Mathis in DeSoto, because they got kids right now playing in the NFL and playing in college. So let's give these coaches their respect, because you don't get to the league and you don't get to Stanford and you don't get to Oklahoma State without some guys putting it in your ear. There's some raw talent people that get there, but man, these kids really coached up, man. We out here running college schemes. These kids really got it up here. So let's give these coaches their respect. You look at Coach Ty and Coach Spencer. Look at the linebackers they didn't put in school, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't disrespect that, bro. It's something to that formula. It's something to it. So let's give our flowers, and let's not every time we see a loss, oh, they can't coach. Well, y'all ain't saying that when, like I say, y'all ain't saying that when Carl lose or any of them. I don't want to hear that, bro, because really it's baloney. Because what it is when you can't get over the hump, what you do is stand on the side of the hump and tell other people you can't do it either. Now you can't get over the hump either. That's all it is, bro. It's a crab in the bucket mentality. We got to get out of there. They respect our gangster, because we went out there. We went at 28 unanswered by Paris. We came back, kicked the field goal. Bye Paris.
Hey, okay, that's a good segue. That's a good segue for my man Courtney. Now we got sock defensive coordinator, the official Dub defensive coordinator. I think that title is probably higher than sock. I'm just gonna be honest. You know, that's just my opinion though. You know, we got Dub DC court. You know, the Dub DC is in the house. What's happening, Coach Ward?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, man, we just
I
chopping.
was trying to let Doughboy get off his sock soapbox, man.
Yeah, he was on it, man. He was on it. Yeah, and that's why I love having the homie on, man. Because I like real fans. You know what I'm saying? I like.
Yeah, now he's a real fan now.
Yeah, but you know he's knowledgeable too. I mean,
oh yeah,
and he ain't scared to show his face on here, unlike other fan bases that just want to talk behind that keyboard.
DeSoto, you.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing. I said
it. I ain't scared.
Anyway,
that's why they kicked you out of their media, right?
That's why we can't get on the sideline now, man. But
Rob, hey, my boy Swagger Wit done went from the first episode changing t-shirts to fit the school to chain hanging over his nipple You know what I'm saying? Boy, how the dub has grown.
Hey man, the dub, man. The dub do strange things to strange, it do strange things.
Hey, Cal,
Boy,
it's Monday night, bro. It's Monday night football.
let that
You
be
know
the
you my
reason,
boy,
man.
man.
But coach, I just want to get you. I mean, hey man, I'm happy you hopped on. I just want to get your opinion and your take on the first 4 games Sock had, and how you see you and your defense, how you think your defense held up. Cause that, I mean, no matter what nobody say, ain't nobody played them 4 games y'all played.
Yeah.
So just how you feel about where y'all held up and how y'all going forward.
I mean, them first 3 games, the first 4 games speak for themselves. That it's a tough draw, and you go in them to win them all. And it's like me and one of my friends that played at Texas was laughing and joking about, after the Alabama game when they played them close and should have won, gave the game up. And afterwards, because I was at A&M when they were making that transition, he was kind of asking me about it, like, yeah, see, I told you they could play in the SEC. And my thing was, I don't think it's ever really a question if you can beat a team one time, especially if you're a solid team. The issue with that type of schedule or being in that type of conference is Texas quarterback was knocked out and their backup was limping. So now you got to go line up and get played the next week. Somebody that's just like the people that just beat you up. You know what I'm saying? Win or loss.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part of playing that first 4 games, because I think a lot of people don't understand. Paris Episcopal is a really, really good team. You talk about 4 or 5 Division I players on defense. You talk about 3 to 5 Division I players on offense, and probably a top 3 quarterback in the Metroplex. So I think we got out of what we needed. It didn't go the way we wanted. We wanted to come out 4-0, but sometimes you ain't ready to do the things that you want to do. But we learned a lot from it, and moving forward, we're gonna take them lessons and try to get as healthy as we can. I think the defense held up pretty solid. We started to get a little beat up, and we kind of bounced back last week, and had some young kids come in and play a lot more earlier than we thought we would, and they actually showed up. And we got I think 4 takeaways in the second half last week that helped us win.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. Now, the one question I asked, and then I don't want to just beat up on Sock too much, because I feel like you are a expertise on all of football. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get your opinion on some of these big games coming up.
Okay.
Also, but before I go there, I'm wondering, you think Coach Todd gonna schedule a 4-game start like that again in the future?
Always. Yeah. Yeah, We at that point as a program where that we have to, you know what I'm saying? I think about certain teams that have won multiple state championships, and they don't schedule like that. You know what I mean? They get satisfied with just winning the games they get and winning on their level. They don't schedule up like that, and our goal is to be the best around. That's the goal. You can't accomplish that if you ain't trying to play the best around. You know what I'm saying? You can't. And if it's any question, y'all been around us enough and know us before and after, to where we see a challenge, we're gonna run for it. And just like we can take our L's, and we gonna take our W's and let you know about it. When we take them L's, we're gonna be the first one to tell you, man, they outplayed us. It ain't gonna be no excuses. It ain't gonna be no this or that, because it's football.
It ain't gonna be no they got all these D1 players and ain't none of that.
Nah. You go into it to win it. You feel like you can win them, and you go in to win. When you lose, you gotta take that. You can't make excuses or be salty and mad at somebody for beating you, for being better than you that day. And that's business. It's being a coach, man. You gotta be able to take the L's. You gotta know sometimes you're gonna lose.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about it, man. Hey, before I know Coach Will probably got some questions for you about defense, because that is a former defensive guy. But before I let him ask you some questions about defense, I want to know how you feel about your fellow DISD teams that's undefeated. You know, you got Pinkston 4-0, you got Spruce, you got Conrad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, to me that's a big deal. I mean, people be looking at me crazy, but I'm like, hey man, that's DISD. They undefeated. They coming. They on the upper twin. I talked to one of Conrad coaches. He told me they got a hellified sophomore class. Like,
yeah.
He like they 2025
and them last year was a bunch of freshmen on varsity.
Yeah. So just how you feel about that? About your other DISD mates?
I mean, it's exciting. You know, the goal is to make it be to make it spill over. You know, whatever formula. To me, you know, as a Dallas guy, you want Dallas to be successful. You know, Coach Todd said all the time, that wasn't a SOC championship. That was a Dallas championship. You know, I'm a Kimball cat. You know, I'm as critical on Kimball as much as anybody because I'm a Kimball cat. You know what I'm saying? Todd is a Lincoln cat. Weefall is a Pinkston cat. You know, Spencer's a Skyline cat. You can go through the staff. So, you know, it's all about trying to make it better for the next people, for the next person and the rest of the district. So anytime you see that, I think the biggest thing is, man, programs come in stages. You don't go from, you know, stage 1 to winning a state championship. And I think some of these programs are scheduling better. You know, I think you know, I think about Coach Carl Richardson at Spruce, who played in Miami. Shoot, he the reason my oldest brother went to Miami. His dad and my dad went to Grambling together. And seeing his, you know, every time I'm at a coaching clinic, I see CJ there. You know what I'm saying? So you can see the work that's being put in by the grown folks. I think people are taking more pride in keeping kids home. You know, he went to Spruce. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, Coach Ragsdale at Conrad, you know, he's had some success in Dallas at Adamson. And, you know, he went out of the district to the suburbs and now he's back at Conrad. And I think, you know, things are changing for the better. You know, I'm happy to see it, especially early in the year, man, because you need to get that momentum going. With the way I fan, like Courtney said, with the way our fan bases are, man, get your momentum early.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you can get that homecoming like the first 3 weeks, if you don't know you go win that district, let's get that on out the way. But before I go farther about the future game, we Coach Carl, you got anything for Coach Ward?
Yeah, man, you know, it's good to see you, Coach. All-time favorite of the show. Love the Ward brothers. Who's the fastest? You or Mike Nick? We always call him Mike Nick.
I was the slowest. I say that. It's 3 brothers and I was the slowest. Now getting into the debate about who was the fastest, I ain't got no parts in that.
So you were just a big safety. You were just a big safety coach.
Nah, I played corner. I mean, I went to state twice in track too. I just wasn't fast as him.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, see, when that's why I said define slow.
Mm-hmm. I was the slowest of them.
Yeah, he was trying to make it seem like he was Richard Sherman speed. He out here, you know what I'm saying? You gotta watch Coach, man. I gotta watch Coach.
You know the thing about growing up in a home with 2 extremely talented brothers is the word good. The definition of it, it means something different to you. So ain't no more victories. You faster than me. You faster than me. You talking about me 46 quarter. DJ, I think, got 3rd in state with 20.9. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Okay. Yeah, but you weren't slow either. So
I wasn't slow.
Yeah. So look, man, quick question. I gotta ask you this. Y'all went out there and held, like I say, one of the top 3 quarterbacks of the city to non-completion, right? You got 2 picks on them. You held them to under 200 yards passing. Yet and still, throughout all that, it was a spanking in the 3rd quarter and the 2nd quarter and coming out at halftime. And I understand, you know, fumbles and things like that as well. But things that came out at halftime, what happened and what was going through your mind when it just went like this? Like, how was you able to keep them together, you know, to turn the valve off going into the 4th quarter?
Well, I think the issue that we've had defensively is explosive plays in his first 4 games. We've given up a lot of explosive plays. I think the number was we've given up 4 games 1,200 and some 52 yards and almost 800 yards of explosives. And that's each game. You know, the Duncanville game, it was a 99-yard run. You know what I'm saying? Lancaster had 3 explosives. They had 21 points. You see what I'm saying? So that's been an issue we've had, and I think it hit us kind of in the third quarter. And when you're playing good teams with good players, small mistakes that can pay for. You know, and that's something that I think we had to buckle down with and just get them settled down because we do have kids who played 16 games before. So I think we got to settle down and we made some adjustments and put them in some situations I don't think they were comfortable in, and then they started turning it over. So, you know, it's just the experience part with the kids, man. When you got a group of defense like we got, it's a luxury.
Well, you know, and I think, you know, you're talking about 5 turnovers as well. So, you know, and I think the thing that I thought was really most impressive is once you got the valve turned off, there wasn't no more leakage after that.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? And being able to go 3 and out and keep getting your offense an opportunity to get the ball to a point, you know, that was huge.
Yeah.
You know, and then to be able to set them up, get the ball back in order to kick the winning field goal. You know, all the while not giving up any points. So what were you telling your guys, you know, going down that stretch? Because it was tooth and nail at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been great in spurts. You know, outside of the 99-yard run against Duncanville, they had 14 yards offense in the first half. You know, DeSoto was up 14-2, but one of them was a defensive touchdown. They scored 7 points in a half. You know, so if you go through the game, we've had spurts where we've been really good. So I think it's just about kind of getting settled down. You know, I think the second half of DeSoto, it kind of got away from it. The opposite of what we talked about defensively. You know, once it started going, and you couldn't slow it down. And a lot of it was our mistakes. They made plays. You know, so it was just calm down, man. Like you said, when you got veterans and it starts rolling, I mean, you just got to make sure they keep focusing on doing the small things. And I think we did a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whenever you can shut off that, like I say, shut that valve off and not give up first down and things like that, and no more big plays. At that point, you can afford to.
Yeah.
And you're talking about 2 teams that, you know, or state championship teams going back and forth. So that mindset is the same on both sides of the ball, and you know, to see Stock offensively, you know, pull that out and win that game. For as much slack as they've been getting the first 3 games, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
To see, you know what I'm saying? Finally, going into that 4th quarter, put together a team effort to get that win, man, from offense, defense, and special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. And that's what I feel about, man. Congratulations, Coach.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach, before I know Jesse got your fellow Kimball alum Jesse Wyatt probably got some questions for you about the upcoming games. You know, he don't claim y'all over there at Kimball. But
yeah, you do.
Nah, it ain't like I do claim, but don't get me wrong, bro. So don't believe it. I do claim Kimball.
Oh, I already know. I see.
Yeah, but
that's how I know you went to Kimball, because you claim Kimball. You just love Longview. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Oh yeah. I want to ask you a question though. I ain't got too many. You went to Longview a couple of years ago with soccer, right?
Yep, twice.
What do you feel like? What kind of challenges you feel like Lancaster's gonna run into playing down there? Because I tell everybody, don't nothing prepare you for playing down there. It's totally different atmosphere than anywhere you're gonna play. What's your opinion on that?
For high school kids, playing at Longview in a game that they deem important is a culture shock. People that play college football, the first time that you're on the sideline and you got visiting fans yelling and cussing at you is a culture shock for you, especially as an inner city kid, because we don't deal with kids like that. We don't we don't argue with kids. You know what I'm saying? At Longview, they don't care. They got their side of the stands, and then they got the visitor side, and half of the visitor side is their side.
Correct.
So it's a very, very, very hostile environment. And I think I don't know if Lancaster has been there under this staff, but it's gonna be a tough game. You know, I think Lancaster got a shot to win it? Yeah, I do. I think Lancaster is a lot better team than people realize. You know, I was looking at the McKinney North comments all week last week, laughing.
Thank you. Me too.
I pick McKinney North.
Game, and I looked at the score. I just nodded my head like, yeah. Lancaster a better team than people realize. I mean, you got to remember in the scrimmage against DeSoto, it wasn't what. You know, I remember Lancaster. You know, they held their own. So it's not like we talking about a team who can't line it up with almost anybody in the state.
Right.
I think they can handle it.
We're getting physical with DeSoto. That ain't saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, let me say this.
Now this is 7-on-7. Hey, I can feel you, but you got anybody out there running back and run the ball, man. You can beat DeSoto. So
hey, the thing you can say about DeSoto is if you go back, I say about 4 or 5 years, it's only certain level teams that's gonna beat DeSoto.
Yeah, that's true. Duncanville one of.
So when we talk about, you know, you got to be physical. All you got to do is be physical. Well, it might not be that many people capable of that level physical.
You got to have them physical dogs. That's
it's just a pushover. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the case. They keep losing to one team right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I give them a hard time, bro. You know, they always give me slack. I give them a hard time, but they gonna have players over there. Dontre Wilson was probably one of my favorite high school players all the time.
Yeah,
so they don't believe that. They don't see when I tell them that. So I was rooting for this DeSoto that year they played Collier and them. If he wasn't hurt, I think they beat Allen.
Yeah, Dez White was my favorite.
Dez White, I played Collier twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he did.
Let me just say this real quick, Jesse. This definitely go to you. If memory served me correctly about that Longview Stadium situation, I believe there is one Dallas team went down there and took care of their business last year. They go by the name of Holland Park. So
that's not Dallas though.
Man, that's Holland Park.
That ain't Dallas.
Hey,
they don't claim
the Metroplex.
I mean, but Holland Park.
Hey, they the dub. They the dub.
They for the Metroplex.
Big guy. I can't take that from
therefore,
and that was your 4 legs. And I was at the game.
If they can go do it, I do believe that team
on
I-20 can do it too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something, dog. You might think it's an excuse. That team they beat at Longview wasn't even all that. That same team that did round beat. Blew out. I'm not taking, like I said, they weren't expecting much from that team that year.
I'm making excuses.
No,
but they went to Lobo Stadium.
I'm not taking, but I'm gonna tell you something though. Hold on. I'm gonna say I'm done with it. There was also COVID year too, though. They had half capacity. You No, it was COVID. It was the year of COVID. And
it was COVID for everybody though. It was COVID for everybody.
Yeah, I'm saying they only took 5,000 people.
Hey man, they won't let me use the COVID excuse with Duncanville played South Lake, so we can't use it. We can't use it.
No, you know, you talking about what I'm saying. You talking about the crowd. They had half capacity in the crowd. That's what I'm saying. So you didn't get that full experience.
So hey, I tell you what, Coach Ward, I just got a text from Coach Paul. He said he's a big fan of yours.
Yeah, Coach Paul a good dude, man. They did a really good job against us. They did.
Y'all don't think Lancaster playing what's that Dengali? That ain't the type of atmosphere. That's kind of the
nowhere near
atmosphere.
Nah, I gotta.
It ain't the same.
Courtney, I'll be honest, Courtney, you got to go to a Longview game, man. It's unreal. It's unreal.
The only reason I asked y'all that because my people was down there when they played Lancaster down there, and they was frustrated. They said them fans was rocking. I said, yeah, y'all ain't used to the other people's fans. They gonna stand up the whole game and go down.
Yeah, the difference really is, first of all, they're on your side, which is not common.
Oh, okay.
And they yell at your kids. Like it's not like high school, you know. It's not a student section. It's grown folks yelling at your kids behind your kids.
Okay,
it's different. We played the once on homecoming.
You had this old black man with a bullhorn. He had this old black man with a bullhorn and a jerry curl.
Yeah,
and that juggle had that bullhorn, and he said,
"Hey, J Mac. You remember a couple years ago, me and you went to that Longview game at Kincaid, and they had that whole damn side packed up.
Hey man, That's why Jesse loved Longview. That's what people don't understand is it's the style, but it's also like that's a real fan base.
That's
Like,
real Texas high school football. When you think about Texas football, Friday Night Lights, that's it.
They travel.
Hey, Longview.
I played with
That's in there.
them
people travel.
Jason Taylor. Remember that kid that had that big hit against the tight end at Penn State on the sidelines when Michigan played Penn State? I don't know if you remember, but they both got knocked out. Number 28 went to Longview. Bobby Taylor.
Yeah.
Man, that dude was such a great athlete, man. We turned around, played him in football. Right after football season, he went and won state in basketball, won Player of the Year in the state for basketball, and then ran a 45 in the 400 and won state in the quarter. Like that atmosphere down in Longview is the closest thing that you get to
college
a
football.
college atmosphere. Like playing like, so we would play at Penn State. And Penn State is one of the worst places to play at. So the fans is literally right behind you. So we play at Penn State, and Mercury Hayes, I'll never forget this. Ty Collins threw a fade route to him, Mercury in the end zone. It snowed that day. That whole crowd, when he was in the end zone, getting ready to catch the ball, and they just started throwing snowballs at him. right when he started to catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like Wisconsin put batteries in marshmallows and throw them at you when you coming out. So our head coach Muller, great man, walked out. He was standing under the bleachers, and we was getting ready. We was in Camp Randall. We was getting ready to go out. Man, he catch them on top of them because they stand over the ledge like that and empty mustard and ketchup all on them.
Hey,
look,
real quick. What y'all think about that fan hitting Kyler Murray in the face yesterday?
And before y'all go, I'm gonna say something about Longview. I'll be done with it. Go ahead.
What y'all think about that? Will?
Well, what?
About that fan hit Kyler Murray in the face after the game yesterday. That Raider fan.
That's the first time I heard about that. What happened?
He was shaking the fans' hands and why them hit him in his face.
Like stones? And what happened after that?
Slapped him.
Police.
He slapped like hard?
Yeah, they were mad they lost.
Like hard.
I don't even want to talk about nothing like that, man. You know, we'll go all the way off the trade tracks. Let's stay.
I'm gonna say this, Jeremy. Also, to get a history. It's my NFL. You know, three Longview players played in the NFC Championship last year. 2-1 for the 49ers. Jermichael Hastings, Trenton Williams, and the cornerback that got the interception out of Jermichael Hastings, Henderson. He went to Longview. So, and also one more thing too, Larry Sanders, Will, he played at Longview before he transferred to Tatum. A lot of people know that. Yeah, but played with the Cardinals.
The fullback. Yeah.
Jess, you forgot one other thing about Longview.
He had a camp in Longview.
Your ass whooped by Langston. Friday.
We're gonna find out. I got a full tank of gas. That ride down there.
Hey, Coach Ward, I don't want to keep you too late, but I got to get your opinion about this other big time game that's going on, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you know a little bit about it. You know what I'm saying? It's them Waxahachie Indians against DeSoto. DeSoto saying it's personal. You know, I think every game personal, but they saying it's personal. It ain't just a game. So, can you give me your opinion on that game?
So I haven't seen Waxahachie in a couple years. So I don't, I've only seen DeSoto. I've heard that Waxahachie is pretty good. I mean, this is the first time everybody talking about them this much. You know what I'm saying? And I know they feel real good about what they got. I know the head coach is a really, really good defensive coach that came from Denton Ryan. I know the job he did at Ryan. People will say you got kids, you know what I'm saying? But them Ryan defenses ain't looked the same since he left. They still good.
Yeah,
but
they ain't look the same.
But they ain't look like they did. They trying to find their footing now without him. So I know that about. I know one thing they're gonna do at some point when he get it going the way he has done before is they gonna play defense. As far as seeing them and knowing who gonna win, I gotta see the team. I can't just guess off feelings and what I hear. I hear about the two backs. I don't even know if them two kids was there last year because I wasn't hearing the same thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't tell you. Yeah,
No,
so I don't know. I don't know enough about Waxahachie. I'm excited about it. If it's gonna be the game everybody's saying it's gonna be, I want to watch it.
It's gonna be a slow. It's gonna be a
Hey,
slow.
Cal.
I tell you what, Coach. What would be your if Coach Tyler called you and said, "Hey, Coach, we got to go to DeSoto," which they do this weekend, Friday, 7:30. What advice would you give him on what to expect from that DeSoto team?
Me and you being honest, and I don't know him. I tell him I ain't got nothing for him because it's a South Side team.
Okay.
That's just me being honest with you. I don't know him. He probably a great dude, but blind calling somebody, I can't. DeSoto, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Duncanville, Carter, whomever. We can talk noise and we can fight all day, but I ain't got nothing for him. I mean, that's just me being honest.
Okay.
That's what I would say. I'd be like, Coach, I wish you the best, But I mean, you got the film like I did.
Hey, Cal,
you saw what we did wrong. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, then tell me this: what's your opinion on DeSoto? After facing them, what do you see as their strengths? You ain't got to tell me no weakness.
I think.
Just tell me what you see as their strength.
I mean, I think they still DeSoto. I think every year everybody try to make it. Our people try to make it like a team is always worse, unless it's a bunch of notable names that they know. I think just because DeSoto got a lot of young notable names, people try to discredit that they still are DeSoto. You know what I'm saying? And I like the quarterback. I think he can play. Obviously, the wideout can go. I'm a huge Tiger fan. I think Tiger the best back I've seen this year, especially with his age, taking into consideration. Defensively, they always play fast. They always play physical. I saw some times where we moved them, and I saw some times where we had a lineman pull around and get splattered. So, and we ain't got no little kids. You know what I'm saying? So, I think me and Matt Stepp was talking about this, I think, last week. I think this is the closest that the South Side of Dallas has ever been to having 4 contenders in all 4 classifications. And we talking about all black coaches. It's never been, people. Sometimes it's been 2. A couple of times it might have been 3, but it's never been 4. So, man, I root for all them teams. We play them. So I've seen them. I think Duncanville is as good as they've been. I think they got some differences, but they the same Duncanville.
Yeah, man. They getting better. I wouldn't watch them Friday, man.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they getting better.
That's what they do. This is the first time that Duncanville has a tandem on the D line. Normally they got an end or a dominant tackle. They got both, and the other kids can play. So you got an issue in the interior line and edge this year. They've never had that before. They've had some good players, but you talking about 2 players that another team that they playing would say we can't block him. They got one inside and one outside. The secondary is very good. They fast. They cover. I think the scheme has evolved where they doing more than they've done before.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Bonner.
Yeah. And Garrett. You know what I'm saying? It's same with Lancaster. I think Lancaster is as good as they've ever been this year. People look for the big names, but for me seeing these teams year in and year out, whether we play them or not, it's impressive. And it's hard to come by the situation that I think we all in.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hey, since you brought up Matt, can I get your opinion on Sock not being in their top 25?
I mean, it's a 1-3 team, dog. You know the thing about the thing about rankings. I used to care about rankings, you know, and when you win it, rankings don't matter no more. When you win it and you think you're gonna win it again, you know everything is earned. You know, everybody rankings are for conversation, and that's it. You know, we 1-3, so it don't matter how close a game was or who it was. At the end of the day, how do you rank a 1-3 team over somebody who may be 4-0? You can say they ain't played nobody or whatever, but when I mean, the great thing about football is at some point you're gonna play somebody. And that's when you prove it. So, you know, I didn't even know we would. If you'd have asked me, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what we was ranked. But if you go 2 years ago and before, I probably would have always been able to tell you, like, oh, we ranked. You know, you stop caring. When you actually do something, you don't really care about that stuff no more.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. And shout out to Matt Step, man, because that's a cool guy. One thing I like about Matt, because we had a nice little conversation ourselves today. Because hey, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of upset Lancaster wasn't ranked as high as they need. I thought they should be, and
This ain't time though. You just gotta prove it. If you go out to Longview and you win this week, you'll be in the top 3.
Right.
Right.
So it ain't nothing to be irritated about. This is you get a chance.
You're right. Well, I mean, like you say, because we do rankings, and so the whole thing of the ranking is for conversation. We know that.
Right. It's opinion.
It's like the BCS or college football playoff. You know, they'll rank a team knowing that team still got to see a team that's way over. So people be like, man, they should be in the top 4 already, but they finna play number 2 in 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's gonna work itself out.
I did tell them I had a problem with Southlake being over Duncanville, but that was just me.
That time gonna come.
Oh, it's gonna come.
The last 4-5 years.
Yeah, they gonna and they gonna get beat down again, and we'll keep on, and then they'll be ranked ahead of Duncanville again next year. Then it's just a continuous cycle. That's what I be.
Yeah, the thing I love about
the
thing me personally I love most about high school football is most of the fans, they forget about last year. You could beat a team by 70 points, and the next year they're gonna feel like they'll beat you. So, you know, that's how high school is. You know, they forget.
Yeah, I saw it happen, bro.
Oh, I've seen it happen. Bro, let me tell you, I'm a Kimball Knight, and every year for the last 6 years, they done felt like they was gonna beat us.
Right.
And it didn't matter what happened the year before, and as they should. I mean, like if I was in that position, I'm not finna lay down and be like, well, they beat us bad, so it was close. Nah, that's how it is, and that's how it should be.
And let's give Bam a shout out. He got his first win.
Yeah. That was a big win, man. That was a big win. People don't realize that, you know, that getting over that hump is a big deal.
Hey, I give everybody that I know that came on the show or that I kind of know, when they got their first win, they got a text from me. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I was like, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a big deal, because you know that's getting your feet wet, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
I know the OC over there really well. He real good, Coach Monteith. So I mean, he and I talked this weekend, man.
And they're gonna be all right. I think everybody knew that wasn't gonna be a quick fix over there.
Yeah,
I think everybody knew that.
I got a little question for you too, Coach. I got a little question for you.
What's up?
What's the plan going forward? What's the plan going forward to keep the intensity up after playing these tough games and going into a district where we know some of these games are going to be pretty pedestrian? So what's the formula to keeping that intensity up going into the playoffs?
I mean, this is what we do. The first 4 games was the new part. This part is, you know, last year, I mean, we had to manage the same thing. You just focus on the small detail things with a lot of it. It's about perfection. You know, as the level of competition goes up, it's harder to play technique. It's harder to execute. So as the level of competition you feel like is going down, it should be no excuse for lack of technique or execution. So, you know, it's just constantly emphasizing that stuff and being overly critical as we've always been. But, you know, I remember Lancaster, you know, the last 2 or 3 years in that district, I remember how hard it was for them because it was new. You know, for us, we've always had to manage this. I mean, you know, Coach Todd, Skyline, they district in that Richardson district, they always had this kind of situation. So, you know, you learn how to manage it and make a positive of it, getting healthy, you know what I'm saying? Creating depth. It's a lot of things that you pull out of this. And like last year, we had an initial shock, at least defensively. Offensively, we didn't. But defensively, we had an initial shock when we played Everett, you know, because the level went back up.
Yeah.
You know, and once we got them settled down, we were fine. You know, so you kind of know what to expect. You try to prepare the kids, depending on if it's a new group or an experienced group. And I mean, moving forward, dog, all you can do is play the team you got on your schedule.
So is that a first round game again, Coach? You think so?
I don't know. It depends on their district. Everyone been playing well. You know, you know, that district is weird because you got Summit who went to the state semifinals the last 2 years, and I think they 0-4 or something like that. But the first time, like Jesse said, the COVID year, I think they was 5-5 or something going into the playoffs and went to the state semifinals. So you can't. You got Ennis, who was I think 1-3. I think Ennis is 1-3. Midlothian Heritage is right now just by records the favorite. But at any given point, you got some teams that could turn it on.
Is Timberview in that district too?
They moved up.
They moved
up Division 1 now. I think they top 5 right now, rank wise. Now I do know that. Yeah.
They good. Yeah.
Is Burleson Central still over there, or are they gone?
Centennial is up too. Burleson High is in that district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's Burleson High, Midlothian Heritage, Ennis, Summit, Everman. That's the 5. And it's a couple of other teams. I think Corsicana.
I want to say, Corsicana.
Joshua's the last.
Joshua.
Yeah, and so you know, man, that district is because you never know. I mean, and you start talking about the right player get hurt, or the right player has been hurt, or somebody get a little confidence, or somebody get their foot. A team that you might try to say was going to get 4th might end up in 1st. So I can tell you who the first round game going to be.
Coach, did you watch any of that North Crowley Lovejoy game?
Yeah, I saw it.
What you thought about it?
I thought it looked the same way as it looked last time. Lovejoy ran into a well-coached defense with athletes.
It was kind of scary, similar, right?
It looked the same. It did.
Yeah, it did. It did.
You know, Chris Ross do a good job, man. They're gonna figure it out at one point. I just hope they don't figure it out against us. Shit. They're gonna figure it out.
Don't think he ain't trying.
They're gonna figure it out. I just hope it ain't against us.
Hey, Cal, what little league team did you play for?
Me and none of my brothers ever played Little League. My folks didn't believe it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my folks was track and basketball people. They felt like football was a secondary sport that you can teach as long as you didn't play quarterback. You can get everything you need for football and other sports. And I still believe that. I mean, I enjoy the league, you know, but I mean, it you know, teaching a O-lineman who is a stellar post player in basketball. Once he moved to the football field, if you can get him to bite, he probably will be better than some O-linemen that played their whole life. You know, same with some secondary guys, same with a baseball cat. That's you know what I'm saying? You can go through position to position. The only thing you can't replace is playing quarterback.
Right.
You can't do it.
That's true.
Hey, Cal.
Quarterback is a different sport.
Right.
We got first district game against Cal.
Addison.
Oh, shit.
They got Addison this week.
Addison on Thursday.
That's a good one, man.
Huh?
Addison gonna bring.
Yeah. I mean,
you said they're gonna bring you, Coach?
Addison better than Longview.
Oh, okay.
Hey, don't Addison win that wing team? They win that wing team, they can beat the Soto.
They coach he at Conrad now. That's why they.
Oh, okay.
Addison's head coach is at Kemp High School.
Yeah,
he's the new head coach. He's from Kemp.
Yeah, BJ went to Kemp. He from Kemp.
Yeah.
So new head coach at Addison now?
I believe it's an interim. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe it's one of the guys that have been there. Now, the
What
coach
about-
before BJ, I believe, is Ragsdale, who is at Conrad. It might be a guy in between there too.
What the guy at Conrad, didn't he used to be at South Garland?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where he went when he left Adam.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was at Addison, went to South Garland, and came back to Conrad.
Yeah. My first year coaching, I was at Lincoln and we played Ragsdale's Adamson first round. And we was up 15-7 at the half. They was on our neck.
So I remember Addison had a squad. I want to say maybe like 10 years ago. They had a quarterback that went D1. I think they won like rounds in the playoffs.
Barry Neely.
Was that quarterback?
Barry Neely.
He went to Texas State.
Yeah.
That was about 15 years.
Yeah. About 15 years.
15 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, they had Tavisky Page too. He played safety. Tavisky Page. He was a high recruit too. They had him, Neely. Yeah, I remember them.
Addison, man, listen. Any job where you get a chance to develop kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of good jobs. But I do got one question for you though, Cal. You ready?
Yeah.
I'll call you head coach.
How about the Eagles? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I'll call you head coach.
I'll go ask him that, but I'm glad you did.
What are you looking for in that?
I couldn't hear you, Will. It cut out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You can't hear him.
Hold on, Courtney. I don't get mad at that question. Now you get out the seat. All right. Here's the question. What job are you looking for that's going to be that job that you'll take to be a head coach? Like what job is that? Like not qualification. What attributes are you looking for in a job that's going to allow you to leave soccer and be like, that's the job on me?
I think it will be hard because I don't think that what we have at SOC is anywhere else for me. And you've been around us, Will. You've known a lot of us since before we was at SOC. It's a staff full of cats who either I've grown up around, I've been friends with for 10, 20 years. This is before coaching. Some cats I trained with when we was trying to play pro ball in college, and the camaraderie that we have. When you talk about the staff that we done built, the DB coach I coached. I've been in situations where I know what it takes to develop a secondary group, and how much time it takes. And I'm a father and a husband now, and when I want to step away, it's somebody capable that's able to step in there and do the same job, and I don't have to be concerned about it. It's a 24/7, 365 job when the staff ain't loaded with guys who are competent. So with that, it's hard to say that I would go into a situation right now where I am in my life where I'm gonna be spending the time that's required, because you can't half do it. You know what I'm saying? And working with Coach Todd, it spoils you, dog. You get as a coach, you get to SOC and you get spoiled, because being able to, as a black man in this profession, being able to be yourself fully 100% is rare, and it's hard to find. You don't have to play the politic game. You ain't got to go in the office and bite your tongue. You ain't got to try to play like you nobody that you're not. Who we are is who it should. Hell, I'm a high school coach sitting in here talking to y'all like, it's like Kanye saying, "Can't tell me nothing." I'm talking like it's just me and you.
Yeah,
but
it's some schools that won't let their assistant coach come talk to us. I ain't saying no name. Shout out Duncanville.
Yeah, it's not a lot of places that you can do that. So it's hard, Will. I mean, me and you being honest, because I ain't a money cat. If I was a money cat, I'd have been going to college. So you can't just throw bread in my face and feel like, because the purpose of it, man, how we building that community. I grew up 10 blocks from SOC. where I lived is now zoned to soccer. That tells you how close I live
Well,
to soccer.
and that's the thing though, man. Is like you kind of being able to be who you truly are at work, and especially as a black head coach. I mean, as a black coach. So I'm just gonna tell you that it's hard being in a position where um, you can be your true and authentic self. Because a lot of times it's frowned upon. A lot of times people may feel intimidated by who you are. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They just kind of, and they treat you different.
Yeah.
And then if they don't understand you, they treat you different. If the kids have a better relationship with you than they do with them, they treat you different.
Yeah.
And it's really one of them things where,
I
man,
hear
as a
that.
coach, you gotta really truly, and I'm saying this because I'm only talking from experience. Is I remember I was sitting in Alabama. I was at Alabama A&M, and I was sitting there. I was a recruiting coordinator. We had just had one of the top recruiting classes. Uh, uh, we got the big DN. So, we was getting ready to go win that championship. Like it was like I was telling somebody, I was like, man, this is the happiest I ever been. And then I took another job, and I didn't realize how much happiness truly is
Mm-hmm.
chasing titles. I was chasing titles, and I never should have chased the title because my happiness and my peace of mind was way more important than that.
Yep.
And being somewhere where you could be yourself and be authentic, particularly as a black coach, is rare. And you're right. It's a place you can't walk
I mean,
away
the,
from.
the thing a lot of people don't realize that aren't in this profession is how, first of all, what we've done at SOC, just publicizing our culture. Because you got to think, in this profession, allowing your kids to have some personality, to be loose, embracing black culture, it's not common. We've always tried to pattern ourselves after what has been successful, which is typically through history and Texas high school football, especially white coaches. So it's kind of changed a lot of the way I think, and I've been told this by a lot of coaches in a lot of places, how we see ourselves, what is acceptable. I think it has increased the demand for people like us, because what you're dealing with is in a lot of different places, they're struggling with our kids and our parents. They can't control us anymore. Black folks are feeling more entitled and empowered, and they either gonna leave or they gonna raise hell. And everybody can't deal with black folks like that. And that's just the reality of it. It takes a certain type of cat. Joey McGuire was a very rare breed of what we're talking about, and he's still doing it. It's stories that I've heard about Coach McGuire that made him so much of a people person and why he was so loved. But for the most part, our people are looking to be with us, and it's growing more. And that's not a bad thing. That's not, some race stuff. It just has a lot more to do with a comfort. When you look at a program, Alito played Parish Episcopal before they played us. And Alito looks different because they don't have that kid that's originally from certain places. You know what I'm saying? Because them certain places now got us. So these things, the demographic is changing, and in the profession. So man, just at SOC, I mean, I'm having a blast. A lot of people, it's like you said, guys don't come to SOC to chase jobs, so we don't deal with that kind of personality. All the guys that work on our staff or through somebody on our staff. We ain't posting a job and interviewing 5 people randomly. I mean, we will interview people, but it's probably a reference because you got to fit us. It's a trust thing in that room. Everybody got to be in that car. Offense, we struggled on defense before, and this is my 8th year, and it's never been a situation where it's been split. You know what I mean? Where it's like, You know, well, now if the offense do better or if the defense do, they ain't never been like that. If we equipped to be the Ravens, then goddamn it, we better be the Ravens and let's win some games. You know, we ain't finna look and point no pictures and look for no help because I mean I ain't trying to be. We talk about Kevin, my dog Kevin Henry Jennings, and so forth and so on. I ain't want to be a state champion at 170 to 63 as a defensive guy. You know what I'm saying? You know that's I can't expect because they had a slow game. Don't mean we should lose. You know,
Right.
so it's just a lot of that stuff, man. And working with them dudes, being able to trust the people you work with. You know, being able to tell a parent the truth, and you ain't dealing with fallout from that. You know, it's just different. You know, I enjoy it, Will. I mean, I can't say I'll never be a high school coach. I can't say I won't be a college coach again, a high school head coach. I can't say I'll never be a college coach again. But it's gonna take something, you know, for me to just jump and move. Because I use this analogy all the time. You know, my goal when I was 19 years old, I wanted to coach high school football. I didn't want to make it to the NFL to make millions of dollars. I wanted to make it to the NFL so it could go on my resume so that I could jump forward in the high school coaching profession. That's who I was. You know, people, we hear Ty tell them kind of stories too. So I wanted it to be an inner city thing, and that's what it is. And that's why I think we put so much into it. We're about the kids, we're about the community. I think that's why we blessed. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got no hump. That's why we dealing with what we're dealing with. I'd be a fool to say, you know what? It's my time to shine. I need my name on something. Yeah, my name on something. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't. I'm a member of a Texas head coaching whatever that some guy would take a job from. You know, and it ain't like in high school they just breaking it off. You know what it'd be a 15 grand raise, 10 grand raise. What that's gonna do? Divide that up after taxes per month. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're really just looking at the detail of it, people want you so much. You to grab a bear and chase yours. Man, I'm getting mine. I always have gotten mine because I get it through them kids. You know, when them kids be blessed and they be in college, it's just our kids come back and train that side. It ain't like other places. You know what I'm saying? They come back to the hood to train that side. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of pride in it, dog. And like I said, it's hopefully we can keep going. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep pushing, and no matter what, we done done a whole lot, and we're gonna keep pushing to do more. You know, but it's fun, dog. That's why I jump on here, which I jump on as a fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind if I had seen Wax and Hattie play, I'd have told you what I thought. I ain't got no shame because I be in the group just like y'all.
I know it. Hey man, I want to give a shout out to this guy who just wanted to come in here and holler LD Bell with the W. I don't know who they beat, but
I think they
shout out to LD Bell, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to LD Bell.
I think.
Hey Cal, quick question. You know North Mesquite defensive coordinator Coach Vonner?
Yeah, I know V.
That's my homeboy, man. Y'all talk just alike, bro.
Yeah, V a good dude, man.
Yeah,
the head coach at North Mesquite, Tim Cedar, who actually was the kicker for the Cowboys for some years. Me and Cedar worked together at West Mesquite. One of the most genuine dudes you ever meet. I learned a lot from Cedar, so man, I got a lot of respect for them cats.
Yeah, shout out to Wiley too, cause he is Rod gone, but he do have that Carter connection, cause I believe his uncle was Coach Varner from the Carter days. Yeah, that's his uncle.
Yeah, we chop it up all the time. Real good knowledgeable dude, man. We talk it up, and he gonna keep it real with me too. So,
and they do kind of talk a lot.
Like
Coach Ward, man. I don't be believing Coach Ward really from Keith and Pogue until you talk to him in a real conversation, like off air. Then you be like, okay, yeah, okay.
Now, you got. Hey, we'll tell you, man. When you go coach in college, you learn how to maneuver better. And I mean, I'm from a good home, you know, but yeah, you got to catch me. You got to catch me inside.
Where you stayed at on Keith Spoke, bro?
I lived off Nicholson and Sinai.
Cause I lived in Green Tree when I went to campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, you was in the thick of it. See, I was in the house.
So,
one more thing, Coach. I want to speak. I want to speak to the some you were speaking on. You didn't really get to it, but the culture of Alito and all those type of teams that go on 10-year runs and go on 8-year runs, they come from guys sticking around too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that because a lot of people think because what you've done and what you accomplished, you just automatically mean go chase the bag. But at the end of the day, if we want a school to get to the point where we can say we are competing with every school that win the championship, cats got to stay there. They can't jump and go get jobs because that's not going to keep the same culture at the school. So we do applaud y'all. I always, I'm
But
your biggest fan, even though
more
y'all
so,
know you don't care.
I tell you this, Courtney, even more so, it ain't a bag. Like, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we'll tell you, like, when you've coached and your head coach make $5 million a year and your defense coordinator make $800 a year, I mean, it's not a bag. You chasing two more jobs and 2 more raises and you 20 grand up. I mean, is that really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's perspective. You know, Todd is, I think, the 7th highest paid head coach in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bag. You know, it'll be different. If you in college and I was Brett Venables and I was making $2 million a year to be a DC. Yeah, I'd be chilling. But if somebody can give me multi-million-dollar extra a year, then yeah, we gotta have a conversation. Because you talking about family, you talking about generations. But like that's not what we talking about. You still gonna have to manage whatever extra little money you get. This ain't, you know, it ain't what I don't when I know guys and they say they ready to be a head coach, I ask them why they want to be a head coach. And if I've asked that question 10 times in my career, only one cat has gave me an answer where I understood, and that was Philip Town. Anybody, most other people, if I ask that question, they can't tell you. They just they just want to do it.
What they say, they just want to run their own program.
They just want to run their own show. And my thing has always been myself. It was with what I'm trying to do personally in the inner city. If I've never done it before and I've never been a part of turning the program and making it where I want it to be, how am I going to do that? You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we won state. Okay, now can we be Miami Northwest and Miami Central, where it's year in and year out type thing? Right. You know, where you look up and 7 years from now, 5 years from now, we're before. Then you understand the process of all it takes. That's the people that win. You know, Gary Joseph at Katy, I was a GA with his son. And that's why I was saying earlier, I always use him for an example. He was a defensive coordinator for 25 years at Katy. And when you talk to that cat about this stuff, he don't talk like other people. You know what I'm saying? He speaks in process, like Saban does. You know what I'm saying? He's seen what it takes to build it and be a front line, you know, and understand all the little pieces so that he can teach people the little pieces and keep people on his staff. You know, that's why Katy is Katy. These places, they don't have a high turnover on staff. So, you know, for us, black coaches, we want head jobs. Now we're able to get them. And I applaud it. We need to keep getting them. We also got to make sure that we equip to do the job that we try to do.
Well, I think not only that, though, but we got to be in a position where when we get these jobs, that, you know, that we can excel, because I often hear, you know, he can't get his coaches in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's the administration party too. But it's also being able to keep the staff together.
Yeah.
There are guys who are working for guys who feel as though they know more than, and it's hard for them to work with them. And so you see a high turnover. I just think for me, man, and just kind of like looking at it, after having the opportunity to, you know, a head coach at a Division I level, you know, even if it was just for the spring, and everything that you said in your mind that you always wanted to do, when I become a head coach, I'm going to do this. When I become a head coach, I'm going to do that. And to see the process work. You know what I'm saying? See, you know, the team get their first win this week, and to hear and for kids to call you and say, "Coach, thank you," and you're not there, you know, that's so it's kind of crazy because I had an opportunity to go work to get an NFL job, and I turned it down because I know my true purpose is not there. Like I know that, And I think that was one of the hardest things I had to come to grip with, was because I know I can coach at that level. I know I can compete at that level.
Right.
That's not what my purpose is. Being able to walk in your purpose and knowing your true purpose
It's different,
is
dog.
a piece that you can't even begin to fathom. Like, that's a piece that's unbelievable. The amount of things that you don't have to endure when you're truly walking in your purpose and your peace, because God is going to make a way for you.
Yep.
And I just think that for me, it's being able to see these kids grow and to see them turn into, husbands and fathers, and being able to see them graduate and have a wonderful life. To me, that's all the currency I need to do this job.
Yeah.
And I think for people like you, when you're talking about process driven, it is an anomaly because that staff doesn't exist nowhere else.
Exactly. And the blueprint is so hard to create because that was my that's been my gripe or / complaint when we always talk about Kimball. I know Bam. I think Bam a hell of a coach and he's gonna do a hell of a job. As a Kimball alum that understands the process, my frustration and my venting has always been about support. Give him what he needs. Give him what he needs. Give him what he needs. But I also am around people who have been a part of that process. Like, Stock was a 17-year plan. Like, if you look at the bottom of the barrel when the paddling, the cage fighting happened under J.B. Wallace, and Chris Gilbert got the job, all the way to the state championship, that was 17 years. And it was some lucky hires in there because, like Coach Todd had said, he wasn't the guy they chose. They tried to hire somebody else that it would have dropped. I can tell you now, it would have dropped because it was somebody that wasn't equipped for the community, but it constantly went up and it built on itself. And it has constantly evolved. And it went through the stages we talking about, the Pinkston being 4-0s, you know what I'm saying? To being undefeated and losing first round, to getting over that hump and first beating the suburb school. Like that, we talking about 17 years. So, when it's these processes, you look from school to school, you look at what Cedar Hill's going through right now and what changed. You look at what DeSoto's going through and what it took for them to get back to the point. They've been in the regional finals the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? It's these different places, Duncanville, Samples is who he is because at this point in his career, it don't take him as long. For whatever reason, or whatever his philosophy is, Duncanville had a period where they won a state championship and they made a run. And outside of that, Duncanville ain't been what it is. It was a basketball school. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about Sam's there, and what is it? 4 years, 3 state trips, and people can say what they want.
And one semifinals.
Yeah, and one semi. And you can say, and then one regional final when JJ was a sophomore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it happened that quick. And the thing about that cat is he's done that at 3 schools, and 2 of them was inner city. So, whoever your GOAT is, put them at Lincoln. Put them at Skyline. You know what I'm saying? And see what it is. It's some uniqueness to that. It's these people that people look up to. It's finished product. I always say, why nobody talk about with Todd Dodge that great offense when he was at Newman Smith? You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. But when Reginald Samples was at a Newman Smith, because when he got Lincoln, it wasn't like that. Nope. So when he got Skyline was a perennial first round playoff team.
Hey, on top of that, Ward Hill, when he was the Marble Falls, he didn't do nothing.
Yeah. So it's easy to crown these people that got like Will said, great situations, great backing. Some of these schools, it don't matter who the head coach is, they're gonna win a state championship at some point. That's the reality of it. But on our side of town, a lot of this stuff is coach driven. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a management thing. You're dealing with personalities. You're dealing with the selfishness within our community. We just played a Argyle freshman team that was real. I mean, real. You know what I'm saying? But they've been in a system. Argyle is Argyle for a reason. Where at our schools, it's like select league as freshmen. You try to gel it. And you got a short time period to where you can gel a team and get everybody bought into one cause. That in itself is hard. and it's hard to manage. You know what I'm saying? And it's a 24/7 job. So when you look at what different people, but I can only speak to us. When you look at what Coach Todd has been able to put together, that's why it don't exist nowhere else. It's hard to duplicate.
But the hard thing too is getting people to buy in with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that, like getting people to believe in y'all vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because so like when you go to, like you said, when you look at Coach Todd Dodge, when he was at Newman Smith, or even when he was at Marble Falls, he didn't have big years like that over here. But when he went to them suburb school where all the money at, South Lake Carroll, Austin, Westlake, now you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I get exactly what you're saying, man. It's easier to sell courses, but when you got to go like the bounce now, it ain't gonna be as
and that's for us, because it's easy. For us, it's easier. But for them, it's a management of things that I probably couldn't manage. You talking about a booster club kid winning with a kid in a key position. You know what I'm saying? That may not be the best player. It may not be that good, but your job is on the line if he don't play. That's something that I'm not necessarily dealing with on that level. So it ain't easy nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm more equipped to deal with my people, because I grew up here. I know I know my people. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with, and so I can manage things a certain way. Me coaching at Longview would be a culture shock. These places are different places. It takes something to win in these places, and everybody ain't running. It's a lot of people that would run and take the job at Westlake or South Lake or Allen. And a lot of people before now. I remember when we had openings in SOC. You know what I'm saying, Will? I remember when we had some openings, and did nobody want to work here? It's different.
It is, man. I kept telling people, I said, you can win a state championship from the inner city school. No, you can't. You need all this. You need all that. I said, no, you don't. You need to build a program. That's what you need to do. Build a program. You start showing kids that you can get them in college. You start showing them that you can go past first, second round.
Mm-hmm.
Exposure. And that and you, first of all, your administration got to do it.
Yeah.
Y'all have one of the best administrators. Downtown is doing a great job supporting you guys. You got a coach who an AD who is a state championship basketball coach. So he's looking at things different from an athletic standpoint. I think that at the end of the day, man, coaches win games, administration win championships.
100%.
And for where you guys are, and really just looking over the district, to me, I just think that there's talent everywhere. You have to put the program in a situation where them kids gonna be able to count on you, depend on you, look up to you, and like you say, the things that Todd Dodge don't necessarily have to worry about in South Lake, but it's the same things that he don't have to worry about in DISD.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So I just think that every situation is, like, for me, I don't care about a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if you build something and you put into it and people start seeing you grow, people gonna want to be a part of that.
And I'll reword that, Will. And I'll reword that. Where we are, you have to be the resource. That's why we don't value resources like that. You got to be what brings whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They got to be like, and that's what I was telling Jeremy. I said, Jeremy, when we went and we watched our practice at the first beginning of the year, and all those kids out there, that they have built a place where people want to come and be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play for Coach Ward. I want to go play for Coach Todd. I want to go play for SOC. You know what I'm saying? And when you get in that situation where the draw is not necessarily cool, but more so the culture, I think at that point you're going to a level that I don't think people will be able to understand for years.
Yeah, but that's the fun part, Will. The fun part for me is interacting with the people who don't understand.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fun. That's why I be on Facebook.
That's why he loves Stephen Poole, Will.
Yeah. With people like Stephen Poole, I mean, they make it fun, because they have their truth, and I have mine. It's not it ain't nothing that ever should be personal. I may not necessarily agree with some of the way things is done, but I mean, you're a Carter guy, Will. You know how great Carter has been. You know what I'm saying? We also know how times have changed and evolved.
Well, I also would say this, man. For me, I think that how can I say this? There are programs that have cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame has a cycle. Remember the years when they were bad and then they got back hot? Miami had a cycle. Remember when they was bad and they won 24 in a row? Had maybe the greatest football team ever assembled. Alabama had their years where they were struggling, and then Nick Saban came in.
Yeah.
Carter, to me, Texas high school, you can't have Texas high school football without Dallas Carter.
I agree.
He has to become relevant. And I'm not just saying relevant within the city because that means nothing.
Right.
We're relevant in the city because we're still Carter. That's a name that's been built and passed down over generations. That's something different. What I'm saying is we're going out and we're beating the Salami. We're winning in the first, second round. We're going to the third, fourth round consistently.
Yep.
Consistently. Not every once in a while. Consistently.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for from Carter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think once you get that, I think then you'll start pushing the southern sector of Dallas, I think, will then become some type of normalcy. Because to me, I'm thinking football, you got the Duncanville because you got samples and, wherever samples go, the best of it.
It is.
Right? You got DeSoto with Coach Mathis. He's been one of the best coaches, for a very long time. Then you got Lancaster. Coach Paul is young. He new, but he got his team where they need to be in such a short period. Right? You got, you want more. Cedar Hill is down. And then let's just be real. That man done lost how many head coaches in the last 3 years?
Yeah. Too many.
You see what I'm saying? So it was about to take a toll on him at some point.
And that's his initiative, that whether intentional or not, his initiative is to push black head coaches, new black head coaches. So he gonna lose coaches. If they having any success, he's gonna lose coaches. And this type of thing happens with that.
And shout out to Coach Gates, man, because that was one of his coaches and he done picked up and took off running. You know what I'm saying?
And DJ Mann went 3 rounds at Coronado and love it.
Shout out to Coach Mann.
Guys are not there.
In the school last year, he had
Coach Harris, that's my guy. That's what I'm saying. So everybody can't be like Samples where you just losing coaches every year and still holding that standard. Most teams take a fallback. I mean, that's not just nature, right? You lose so much, you're gonna have to take a step back. Now, Samples doing it, and I don't like to. I ain't gonna say he Nick Saban, but he Nick Saban like as far as Duncanville got. This is Duncanville offense, and this is Duncanville defense. Mm-hmm. Now you come put your stamp on it, but this is what it is.
Yeah,
and that's why I think he's able to keep that standard.
Think about it like this, Coach. Where is everybody running to go to want to coach for? So don't be surprised if Scott Frost is Alabama's offense coordinator. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Nick Saban gonna get head coaches and rebuild them. You know what I'm saying? To put it on a high school level, Coach Sample is taking everything and taking head coaching. You see what I'm saying? And so you are being able to do that. You're going to always get because for some reason, if it works for you, you have your own blueprint and process of how you go about selecting those guys.
Hey, because the last
behind that, then he's always going to get those type of guys that continue to move on and do those things that way you don't fall off. I mean, look at that. Zach left and went to Seagoville.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and Hearn went to Skyline, and you know, he got
Coach Childs. You got, man, he got a butt. East Hill head coach.
You know what I mean? Like his
Coach Mills. That joke right there got so good. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I don't understand the hate for Scout, because I'm like, look, man, show me any kind of coach with a coaching tree like that.
That's not what people value, though. You know, people want to attach all success to winning the state championship. A lot of people just that's what they want. They want to attach it all to that. They don't. It's not about what the kids are getting out of it. It's not about how he grown, how he intentionally or unintentionally is growing the profession with black coaches. You know that's not when you on the outside and you don't understand all of that. It wouldn't, like you said, Will. It wouldn't be no shot without Carter in the 80s and 90s. You know, the same thing I'm saying that I wanted. I wasn't even born, and Jason Todd was at them games saying that he wanted. You know what I'm saying? These people have all contributed to what we're talking about. You know, and you're looking at just the state of football, period, and in the state, and the number. You know, Matt Stepp does a percentage of black coaches and Hispanic coaches in the profession every year, and it's growing. You know, every year it's growing like fast.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the goal. You know, to do it. But like you said, y'all start getting black coaches, because on the flip side, on the south side of Dallas, since 1990, it's only been 2 titles on the south side of Dallas from black head coaches. You know,
really, if you want to include Wilma Hudson.
That's who I included.
Oh, okay. So no.
It's just him and Todd.
No. Freddie got 1, 2.
That was 88. I said 90. See, there we go.
No, it's 88 years ago. That don't do that.
88, 3. and we all consider that a title. we'll let the motherfuckers feel like it got stripped or whatever they said, but that's a title. You won it, and that's all.
You can't take away. You can't take away where when I sat in them stands. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
I sat in them stands.
I saw that person.
Yeah. And as you know, Will, my brother was down on that field.
Yeah.
So you can't. Hey, what people don't know is I was actually on the sideline when they played Marshall against Odell Beckham. I actually see Odell Beckham. I actually see Odell laughing every time he was dragging 5 or 6 Carter guys with him.
Hey, they say he was the truth.
Hey man, I ain't never seen nothing like it. I had to tell you the backstory of that, Coach Boy. I ain't gonna say it on air, but I had to tell you some backstory to that one. That was a good story. But Odell was a beast that game. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, I heard it. Real deal.
So I mean, but that's the thing, though, Kyle. Man, it's always a blessing, man, to see how people grow and continue to move and make strides, man. I just wish that we would do a better job policing our people as we move forward.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that's gonna show up, that is showing up socially, that can hinder our movement.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look at the Roosevelt fight, you know, those type of things that we got to be able to control before we get to those games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And how we prevent those things from happening, you know, before we even get to that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? On both sides of the ball. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Being able to control your guys, get your guys together, make sure we understand what's going on, that we don't tolerate this type of behavior. Yeah. Because as black coaches, we're under a certain level of scrutiny And as we're starting to get a lot of these bigger programs, people are going to look at us a lot different.
Yeah.
And we can't keep giving people fuel to the fire to start holding us at another, you know what I'm saying, to bring us down. Because ultimately, what we're extending like this, and these black coaches and coaches are doing a phenomenal job. Hispanic coaches, minority coaches doing a phenomenal job. We got to keep soaring, and we can't keep doing things or allowing teams and our kids to do things that's gonna bring us back down, man.
I'm gonna tell you where the hardest part with all of that, because I've been looking up. You know, I was at Lincoln, and I've been at SOC through a transition. We transitioned, you know, in every way you could think of at this point. It's a cultural battle. You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, you're raising a lot of kids to think differently in this profession when you're talking about coaching in certain neighborhoods. And so fighting in our mind at times actually solves things. And not understanding how to deal with that. You know, you teaching those kids. It's some instances where you can have every adult available on deck and a kid is gonna pop off. You know what I'm saying? Because he feels like it's more important for him to feel or look a certain way. You know, so just dealing with that in this culture and like you said, when you work in certain places, because this ain't, you know, it ain't just in them places. You know what I'm saying? It happens in a lot of places. I remember a few years ago, Saxy and somebody got in a big brawl. I think it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cultural thing, you know, and it's a process in raising kids in your program. Because if a parent, you talking about places at times where the parent is telling the kid to fight. You know what I'm saying? And they
going down joining them. Shit.
Yeah, and jumping like on the video and jumping the fence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I saw the lady on the fence get stuck trying to get down there to fight too. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's man, I that's why I always give kudos to the people, to them people that show up every day for them kids. Because it ain't always easy, because the first thing people gonna do is blame you. Because you chose to deal with it. You chose to try to help it. You chose to try to manage it. You know, regardless of what happens, you know, what the reason was, what the story was, you know, where was the grown-ups? Where was the coach? Why didn't coach? Why didn't coach? You know what I'm saying? Well, you should have kicked him off. Well, maybe if I kicked him off, or me not kicking him off kept him from running in your house that night. But we don't think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? We just want to throw him away because it's convenient. You know, so it's you know, it's part of the job, dog. And if you don't love it, you're not gonna be able to do it for long. You know?
Absolutely.
It's crazy because
we had a conversation a while back, man. People always be asking, "Can Samples coach at Allen or South Lake, or they need to go get the Allen head coach?" And we tell people the Allen head coach couldn't make it at Skyline or Lincoln, because the fact is, Coach Samples, his dad still out of those kids too. And the first thing a coach from those areas gonna do is kick them off the team. So now you got them kids in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the time, like you say, man, when it comes to that, it's more than just being a coach.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids only father figure. Duncanville is really the first school Samples been at where he had a lot of support from dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's within, you know, like it's a community thing. I mean, case in point. Let's flip it for a second, fellas. We up 28-14 on Paris Episcopal, and we turn the ball all over 4 times in the fourth quarter, and we lose 31-28. What type of words are thrown out to describe the South Oak Cliff football team and coaching staff?
Let's just go back to the beginning. Let's just go back to the beginning of last year. You'll know what was the words.
What are they saying? You know, nobody's talked about that part of the game. It's been, Sock finally got their first win. Great. We all excited for them. We behind you. The fans of the teams that we played, you know, the Lancasters, the Duncanville, everybody, okay, let's go. We all got it. Y'all hold it down. But flip it around. And what would have been said, and how the posts in the different groups, and it would have went crazy, because that's how we see ourselves.
Right.
We look for something like that. It's I mean, and it's reality. You ain't gonna change it because that's how we all been taught to think of ourselves. But I mean, I was laughing at the game like, man, I'm glad we on this side. I'm glad we ain't on that side of it because I know what we would get.
Right. You know what, Coach, was crazy about it is we was me and Kel was at the we go to all the freshman games, right? So we really just turned up on the crowd because we like, sir, y'all just gonna sit here and wait till something happen to cheer, but then when something not going the way you think it should go, you finna sit here and talk about the coaches and say they not using my kid right. I said, bro, I go to a lot of games. I done been sit at Allen games. I don't hear that in the stands over there, man. Like, it's like you don't even trust the people who done brought you to the mountaintop. But it just take me back to when Moses took the people out of Egypt and God sent birds out the sky.
He preaching his sock now.
Look, they were still saying, man, we should have stayed in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how people's mind was. Like, you can take them to the mountaintop, they still miss the valley. So for me, that's why I tell people we can't get caught up in what people saying, because I hear people say stuff. I'm like, bro, do you not realize that I played on a high school team where my partner might go sell crack tonight? Like, you ain't got to deal with that at your school. So it ain't the same thing, bro. When you see these kids triumphing and getting scholarships and Coach Ward can post the kids that he done put in school, bro, that make me happier than winning stuff. I thought state would make me ultimately happy, but I swear when I see Manny Muhammad going to Texas, that make me happy because I'm like, bro, these kids go to SOC, bro. Like, I went to school with kids that should have went to Texas, but guess what? They were somewhere smoking, doing shit, something they ain't got no business doing in the streets. So I'm proud that they can keep most of the kids in the program and keep them in the building most of the day doing football and doing school, bro. Soccer a whole different place right now. So I'm just proud of these guys.
At people.
And let me say this, y'all very welcome to the community, bro. They're not turning nobody away at the gate, bro. If you want to come down there, if you want to come see what's going on, they let you know. So they make everybody feel like they're at home. So I ignore the Facebook people because I don't really care what people be talking about because they're just talking from inexperience. When you talk from inexperience, you come from a place of ignorance. So I just let I let it roll out my back.
You can say that, Courtney, about a lot of programs. So,
right.
And that's one common denominator when you talk about DeSoto, when you talk about Duncanville, when you talk about Lancaster, talk about South, you know what I'm saying? Even with Mahomes, you know, a lot of those coaches, and even Coach Lynn over at CDL, these are people that I know personally. They all do a great job of making sure that the student athlete is taken care of on all levels. And being able to hold them accountable in a way that elevates their program. So as well as their life. So I'm excited. It was beautiful talking to you, man. We gotta do this stuff again.
Nah, I told J Mac after the first three because he was on me. I told him after the first three, I sit down, we'll talk. You know, and I come in, and I would have came in earlier, but y'all got him. Y'all got I know him as Doughboy. Y'all got Courtney started on his sock.
Yeah,
man, I don't want to talk about sock. I want to be a fan.
Hey,
I give a general.
I'm gonna call you anyway. I'm gonna call you and get on your nerves anyway.
Well, see, that's the thing with me is I like it when coaches come in as a fan, because one thing I do like I talk to Will all the time, and I love to watch a game with Will because I feel like when you able to just talk to a coach as a fan watching a game or just talking about football, I feel like the average fan, you're gonna leave smarter because they're gonna tell you stuff they're gonna point out stuff, they're gonna tell you stuff that you're not gonna think about.
It's like when Romo commentates. I love watching Romo commentate because he be breaking it. He be telling you what's finna come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I like about it. That's why when you say, "Hey man, I'm gonna be a fan," I'm like, "Well, hell, what you waiting on? Well, we ain't got to ever talk about soccer when you come on. I ain't worried about it. I got plenty of I got Courtney, so I can talk about soccer anytime. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I like listening to Coach. I like listening to Coach. The Coach got on here after we played DeSoto, and he screamed at that camera and told the offensive line that soccer started blocking, and goddamn it, they started blocking. So I guess
sometimes, but sometimes you need that, especially for people that you respect. Right. You know, the kids. They know they've seen Will call around. They know who he is. We try to make sure that we make the kids know who people are. At least a little bit.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
do.
mean? We
You
we
do.
we we love people being around like that.
Right.
It's hard to come by, dog. It is. You want as many good people, good men around and kids as possible, because that's the thing, man. It's that world that don't exist like that. Once you get out in that real world, it's dog eat dog, especially for us.
You already know.
Co-
Sometimes
co-
it's us eat us.
I got
You
one more thing for you though. You got to give a shout out to my boy Davo after the game he had last game, man.
Davo made some plays, man. He taking some steps moving forward. We haven't played to our capability in the secondary.
Right.
Like
sure.
Will went off about the O line, and I was probably mirroring the same thing to the secondary. We struggled? No, but we were a big part of winning the title last year because we played at such a high level, and scholarships were gotten because of it. And now we haven't been as consistent in doing small things. When you got a great secondary, big plays are limited. So the fact that we've had an explosive issue, we haven't been as consistent as we should be. And last game I think we've had a couple of injuries and stuff like that, but I mean that's part of it. This is when it's football. Ain't nobody healthy the whole season. Ain't no team like that. So he kind of coming along and being one of the leaders. He had a good game. That was a big play that when he stripped that ball and scooped it at the end. That was huge.
I love your small DBs because I know we can get the big Javons and the Manny, but I just like the 5'9", 160 guys that you got out there just playing like a bat out of hell. So I just appreciate
I prefer smaller guys, man. I always have. I played at Kimball and at Louisiana Lafayette next to Mike Adams, who was legitimately probably 5'6" and 3/4, 170 pounds, and he played 7 years in the league. So, I was the big corner that could run, but I couldn't play like Mike Adams. It was different for him, and being next to it, I learned a lot of how to manage certain things. You know what I'm saying, and what comes with smaller cats. And them older kids shoot committed, tall, fast. Man, you could be sat down quick. I'm gonna go. I want that dog. Like you said, though. Boy Davo, he got a clip last game where they had a 6'7", 280 tackle that kind of leaked out on the screen, and Davo splattered him. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of cat you gotta have.
That always amazed me, Coach, with just getting that out of them kids because you got the kids that's just athletic freaks, 6'1", can run, but then when I see him and Abdul and kids like that, then like you got another one coming up the pipeline on the freshman team. He's a pretty small cat, but it's just the dog coming out them little guys. I really just love it. Like it's something special to see.
It's culture, man. You however you build your culture, them kids have no choice but to respond. They either gonna leave or they gonna respond. And I mean, when we just lucky we had a point where people that come know what they're coming to. So leaving, it ain't coming because I know I'm going to play for Coach Spencer. He's crazy. Coach Ward is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And if things ain't going too right, Coach Ty gonna come over and he's the craziest. You know what I'm saying? So you can't come to it to run from it. You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Tell me, man, how is Coach Todd doing through these 4 games, man? I need to bring him on.
He good. I mean, Todd is gonna be Todd. I think that's the beauty of it. We ain't just gonna talk noise when we on top, and when we down, we gonna be in the same situation. Because we ain't never down. If we lost, we learn, and we're gonna be back with a new plan, and you better have one too. So I mean, Todd is Todd. I think he's kind of fine. He loves that he deal with that O line now, and it's been like that for a couple of years.
Yeah,
a lot of people, because he's such a successful backer guy, but now he really is with the offensive line.
Because we came out there, he was that's all he was. He was
that's them his babies
with the big
been
baby.
like that for a couple of years, and that's what he invested in. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the main reasons they look like they look over the last couple of years. The improvement they've made. You know,
And I know he had to be frustrated. He had to be frustrated because, like you said, that when Will went off on him, I went off on him.
No, it's a management thing, though. The thing, it's a process. You know, this is the first time the kids and the program has been the hunted. We're not talking about in 5AD2.
No.
You talking about everybody on our side of town and the state. It's how we looked at Alito and we tried to prep for Alito. And you use the kids, you broke and you gave them a speech. You can't do that against Alito. People say that about Sock now. Yeah. And I think Lancaster was the perfect example. Duncanville, I think everybody kind of showed up because they knew what it was. I think Lancaster was a situation where, you saw them bring a different level of game of effort, and energy. I mean, I know Will was at the game. It was different. You know what I'm saying? It was. It was personal for him. You could see it, feel it. And I think we've been a lot of glitz and glamour and cameras and and stuff.
The dub felt it because we did pick Sock. Yeah, I think we all felt that one.
but from go, they was on our ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's credit to them. Learning in this process. That's a part of the process. You got to learn how to be the hunted now. And I think Episcopal wasn't too different. But
they were waiting for that game.
Did anybody go back and watch the live broadcast of the Episcopal game? Nobody.
I did.
Okay, so did you not? The funniest part about that game was listening to the commentators say the Saco line was out of shape and our players is malnutrition. I was like, I never heard commentators on I said, wow, that was interesting. I didn't know if nobody noticed that. They really
I heard it, but it don't bother you. In a lot of instances, man, what you think, what you believe, it comes out in what you say, and you don't necessarily mean it.
Right.
You don't even really, a lot of people don't even realize what they're saying.
No, I don't think he did.
When people tell me when people still to this day tell me how disciplined our kids are, whether they black, white, green, I feel the same way you felt about that. It's like what we supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But it's part of the business. I don't even take it personal no more.
My thing was you don't get 400 yards rushing in the game and the line out in shape. Like they just big. They might look like they moving slow, but when the ball getting hiked, they pushing you down to the ground. So it was just funny to me for him to bring up being in shape and malnutrition because he actually
nutrition and all that. He talked about that was in the second quarter. That was in the second quarter when we started slowing down. And I remember
that kind of wowed me out. I was like, dang, I wouldn't expect them to say that. But then I had to think like this parish Episcopal. This is kind of Highland Park type of thing.
That's a nice school. Oh,
yeah. Like,
hey man, I love the field. I ain't gonna lie, I just love that blue field, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Hey man, my son played on that field, man. His senior year, he was at Randview. They played Parish.
Yeah, that's a good football team, man. That's a good football team. They huge up front too. I didn't think they was gonna be that big. They huge.
Oh yeah. Hey fellas, I'm sorry, man. We almost hit 3 hours.
We
got to pass the offering plate and get
I'm gonna pile into my own, y'all.
My wife over here staring at me like, boyfriend.
I already know.
I'm on vacation.
All right, man. Always a pleasure, fellas.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Hey, Ward, you want to give a shout out to them before you get out of here?
What'd you say?
You want to give a shout out to anybody before you get out of here?
Nah, man. It's all the real ones. The best part about our schedule is we got to go through the real ones, baby.
Hey man, you a real one. You the homie, man. For real though.
Man.
Hey man, I appreciate you.
Thanks for all y'all do for real though, man.
Hey, we trying, man.
Say, boy, you boys get their media pass back in the sun, though, man.
Hey, Ward probably ain't the one to help me on.
Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know to tell you who to talk to.
Hey man, I will say so, but I'm just
Okay, if Will Carr can't get it,
All
y'all
right,
up
fellas, I
shit
can see y'all there, man. Appreciate it.
hey man,
All right,
all
y'all.
I can tell you is I don't kiss no butt. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out my boy K Young though, so I get
All right,
up
fellas.
just performance all night.
Hey man, hey fellas, I appreciate all y'all. This has been the dub, man. Appreciate it.
You are looking live at
The dub is 3, 2.
1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 get ready, 4 to let go. Talking that talk is all that we don't. It's football time, we ready to roll. We bringing the coaches close to the fans, answering questions not from the stands. D1 players for offers and hands, from DF Dubs the best of the land. Hey, 6 be coming to play like 8, 5 be coming to play like 8, 4 and 3 be coming like 8. Private schools be making it 8, cool in the game, Bad and Brian doing our thing. Weird and Jeremy ready to swing. Oh, I forgot it's a Carter thing. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. We do it for the dub. At DF Dub.
Welcome to the Dub, number 1 high school podcast starring Pat Motizi, Jeremy McInnes, Whitfield Roderick, and Brian Riser.
Dallas Fort